This is killer. Oh, no, 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 no.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5th annual RetroBlasting Saturday live stream.
5th annual.
Yeah, I just made that up.
I think everybody knows that.
Or they were like, holy cow, that's a good long time.
Well, hello, Batman. How nice of you to join us on this special Batman the Animated Series live stream that we're doing today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Maybe we should have started with the Batman.
Oh, we're that Batman?
No.
And then gotten demonetized for copyright infringement.
Well, yeah, pish posh. Yeah.
Pish posh.
Pish posh.
Pish posh. That's all you're getting, folks.
I do my own theme music sometimes when I'm fighting crime. I have to do that because there's no soundtrack. These are just some of the tidbits you're going to hear today about what it's like being a crime fighter.
You look more like a ninja than Batman.
I know.
Say hello to the people at home.
Oh, hello, people at home. Got my eye on you.
Or maybe a little bit like Tom Cruise and Eyes Wide Shut. You know?
No, that's great. That's a great one.
So the thought behind this was in part due to all the chatter that's been going on the last 2 weeks about the renewed argument about, Batfleck is the best Batman, and I like him better than Robert Pattinson, and
I haven't even seen Robert Pattinson.
And I'm
That's
going,
always how that works.
remember the days when it was just animated Batman is the best Batman, and that's it. It still is, and that's it.
A lot of ways.
Like Kevin Conroy's Batman is Batman, and everybody else is just chasing him on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
So that's why we thought we would do a live stream about Batman the Animated Series. Yes, there will be a RetroBlasting feature, part 1, part 2, about the show in depth and the toys and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully this year after Bionic 6, but it will happen. What's going on?
Vintage Toy Kid says, I thought that was Robert Pattinson, but it's actually Aaron.
Nope, I get that all the time. All the time.
I bet.
I think he probably smells better than Robert Pattinson.
Well, his costume is also better than Robert Pattinson's, which looks like it's made out of hefty bags and duct tape.
Aaron in a t-shirt.
I will say this looks like Batman needs a little Botox right here.
Too wrinkly.
Yeah, this is the Botox thing.
Well, he's supposed to look mean. Right?
Yeah, he's like always scowling.
Always frowning.
It doesn't. It just looks like he needs some Botox.
Well, thank you. I'm not actually Robert Pattinson, but I do have the skin of a killer.
Oh my god.
So, okay, based on costumes, why is our mic muted?
It's not.
No, you're looking at the wrong
You're
cam.
looking at the wrong cam.
Oh, okay.
Fancy new camera angles today.
Let's see if we can confuse Michael.
This is why I tell him not to look over my shoulder. Laser Pants says, "Restore the Clooneyverse."
Clooneyverse.
He posted on Infinity Equation. For those of you that don't know, Laser Pants is one of the co-hosts of Infinity Equation, which is a great modern toy live stream every Friday night. I love watching it. It's must watch viewing. But he posted a picture of Clooney as Batman.
TV, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, he posted a picture of Clooney as Batman on the Infinity Equation Facebook page. And I guess that's on his mind lately. I don't know.
The best Batman. I mean, it's still the animated series. Batman will always be the best Batman. It's just
in
like
every
to me,
way.
But the best Joker is Mark Hamill.
But let's tell them why.
Yeah.
Animated series Batman is the
First,
best.
let's read a comment from Beta Ray Bob, which says, "Thank you, RetroBlasting, for doing this stream about the best interpretation of Batman. Serious, but not too dark, and just the right balance of detective and superhero."
Yeah, it's dark.
It's dark, but it still has comedy in it.
He
it's
said
not like,
too dark.
Yeah, it's not the Christian Bale Batman.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
so
in animated,
depressing.
we have Robin falling in love with a little girl who they thought was being abused by her father, and then it turns out it's Clayface, and she was part of Clayface, and he absorbs her by killing her basically at the end of the
Well,
episode.
Batman does commit
And I'm just
suicide
like-
in one scene
I'm
also,
just like,
which
wow.
is pretty dark. I guess.
Yeah.
That's
And there was
just
that-
dark enough, though.
There
I
was
think.
that one where all the kids are like being like made into slaves, like where they have to work in a like mine, or what were they having to work as? Like something where they all like
I think
Batman
it was
had
the
to save them.
Halloween scenario.
Yeah, it was weird. And that Buffy episode pretty much like ripped it off from that. Actually, I would say Joss Whedon watched a lot of
Yeah.
this show. Or you watching it?
Yeah. The thing about the darkness factor is, yeah, we're dealing with a show that's
No.
darkness was inspired by the Keaton
Yes.
movies. So you've got the theatricality still there without this want for everything to be super hyper realistic, which let's face it, the modern movies attempting to be realistic about Batman are still totally unrealistic. But
Right.
in trying to chase the realism, they take all the spice out of the Batman
Yes.
milieu.
No, I agree
They
because
also
I mean,
never have him being a detective, which is really annoying.
what
the
in
movies.
the animated.
The
Oh, in the
movies.
movies, yeah. You know, you're absolutely right.
But he is
Totally
in the
right.
in the animated
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
But that I love detective shows and I love detectives, and so seeing him actually doing somewhat mundane human like
Well, it was the
detective work is
it
kind of
was-
cool.
Yeah, and the fact that he was so intimidating.
Mhm.
I mean, even in the opening credits, when you see the crooks, their eyes are all squinting, and all of a sudden, when Batman rises up, their eyes go round and white.
Can
and
we
you're
just talk
like,
about that
yeah.
They're like,
opening,
let's get out of
like,
here.
the opening like
Credits?
credit. It's not credits.
Or
There aren't.
scene or
It's like that
whatever.
opener
Yeah,
where it's just like it's a scene instead of it being like a little montage of clips from the show. Like a lot of things, it'll be like it's like a little mini. Like here's a hint of what this is going to be like. It's very cinematic. It's got that great Danny Elfman
Right.
music.
Yeah.
It's so it grabs you. So
I would agree. Totally.
Scott says the genius of BTAS is that they looked back over 60 years of the character's multimedia history and then chose the exact right combination of elements and tone for it. No other
Definitely.
character has ever been distilled as well.
That is true.
That is true.
That is true. And that's coming from a guy who is a Marvel expert. Like, so he makes Batman, from what I recall in our retro talk on Patreon, his one exception to his Marvel stuff is,
Really?
yeah,
Batman.
Batman is his DC exploration. Yeah, so he would know. He would definitely know.
So this cartoon series came around because Warner wanted to have a cartoon coming out with the sequel to the hugely successful '89 Batman
Mhm.
film.
Yep.
And so it came out the same year as Batman Returns. And so it kind of has that same imagery and that kind of characterization, although it's not exact. But I think that it's one of the only shows that I can think of, it may not be the only one, where a film studio came out with a cartoon at the time of release of a very successful sequel or movie. Because usually it takes them so long to produce a cartoon series that the whole film franchise has already died out by the time they make the cartoon. Like think back to the 80s. Like there were so many cartoons that like even when a show finally gets a cartoon or a movie finally gets a cartoon made out of it, it's already kind of passe.
Yeah,
Like-
no, I
They
would
must
agree
have
with
started
that.
keyframing right when the first movie came out, then to have the animation completed and edited. And we were talking earlier about the order that it was shown on TV being different than the order that it was produced. So you have to have a significant amount of it made before you can even decide you're going to show a later episode as the first episode of a
I
series.
bet you right after the opening weekend box office came in for Batman '89, Warner Brothers was like, start developing a cartoon now.
Well, and it was interesting for me because Batman '89, I was in 9th grade.
Mhm.
So first year of high school. And then when Batman the Animated Series came out, I was a senior in high school. So to me, it had felt like ages since
Mhm.
'89 Batman.
That feels like so long.
it
at
does.
that
That
age.
4 years of high school feels like forever, right?
High
Feels like a
school, college.
decade,
Sure.
even though it's only 4 years. So I felt like it'd been a while, but I remember actually coming home from school, drove myself home, grabbed a snack, sat down, and I wasn't expecting it. Like I didn't
Mhm.
even know it was premiering. It came on to what you just said, the opener. I was like, what is this? And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden, the very first episode was the Bat episode, and just the visuals of Batman holding on and as he's flying between the blimps, fighting the bat. I mean, I was just floored. I was like, oh, this is a cartoon for me. I was like,
Mhm.
excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the fact that I think they called it Dark Deco or something, but I love the fact that they took like a 1930s vision of the future
Yes.
to create the world. And Burton only touched on that in the first movie. It was far more industrial. It wasn't as deco.
Right.
And it had deco elements, but they took it and they were like,
they went way.
yeah, it's set in the now because there are computers, there's all the modern technology that we were familiar with, but it was in a world where it was like, but it's computers as if the 1930s had developed
suits and derbies.
Yes, and the cars all look like Packards and stuff.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So Geeky McTier wants to poke the bear and say, Michael, you don't have a gray ghost figure.
I wasn't aware there was one.
Well, there was one episode.
No, there's an episode, but he
Yeah.
said figure.
Oh, I don't know. Now, see, this is where. See, let's draw a line right
He
there.
has it, but he has on his cloak of invisibility, so you can't see him.
Nice.
I know a pretty good bit about the animated series, but the toys got so far out of control for me because it went to like we were talking about the other day, birthday Batman and green Batman.
Birthday
I was just looking at this
There
lineup.
actually was a birthday
I know,
Batman.
but that's cheese balls.
I mean, it was so bad. I was like, I can't even get into this. So,
It's like,
you know.
how does birthday Batman sing happy birthday? Happy birthday to you.
Well,
First, happy birthday, kid.
Somebody
Yeah.
earlier in the chat said that
Glad
my
you have
middle name
parents.
is Poison Ivy, and I would say, yes, I love Poison Ivy, but also Catwoman is my absolute favorite
Yes.
Batman villain or anti-hero, and kind of a combo platter in terms of like causes that I really care about. So animals first and then the environment, but they're very closely tied together.
All right, Geeky. So here's the deal.
You did poke the bear.
Yep.
Here's the deal,
Poke the
Geeky.
bear.
These are vintage Batman animated series figures. They are not DC Universe. They are not modern relicensed versions that you buy on frickin' Hot Toys or whatever it is. These are from before the internet, and there is no Kenner Gray Ghost figure that was ever offered in this line. So,
Meh.
yeah,
Several
exactly.
people commented, how
Yeah.
are you getting these Kenner figures to stand up?
Well,
It's an illusion.
It's a fun story that like probably 5 minutes before the stream, I bumped the table and knocked all of them over.
and I mean,
And it was
all of them.
all of them.
It was a
Yeah.
tense
It
moment.
was-
Me singing 80s music didn't even soothe the savage beast that came out.
So that's the whole thing. Like, yeah, everything everything vintage and retro has been picked up by modern licensors to create modern action figure lines. But I'm not gonna just throw, if I have the complete Kenner run, which I do of all the major stuff, I'm not just gonna start throwing, modern stuff on there and mixing it in, because the scales are all different, the look is all different, the build is all different. Yeah,
Michael, these are some good looking toys. By the
they
way.
are. They
Don't wanna
really do
lose
look
that.
cool.
well, they look like the actual cartoon, which
Yeah.
is the best part.
Right.
A World Made of Cardboard says, your opinion, did the animated Batman lead into the so-called DC animated universe, or was it a happy accident for everything to fall into place?
No, it led into
It led into it.
Totally led
Yeah,
into it.
its success made the DC universe possible.
Mhm.
And the animation team from this show went on to do
Batman,
Superman.
yeah, or Superman.
And then that's why the 4th season of this show looks so different, was because a new animation team came in to do that season.
which killed it to me. I
Yeah.
did not really watch the 4th season I
Yeah.
watched it one time, whereas the first 3 seasons I can watch over and over and over.
Right.
again.
And these action figures in this Batmobile are the 4th season style.
Oh, you can tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Michael Hinkson says, good morning, RetroBlasting from a bright and sunny Reno, Nevada. From the opening to Mark Hamill's iconic Joker's laugh and Kevin Conroy's dual voices as Batman and Bruce Wayne, it was the perfect cartoon.
I
Yeah.
agree. I completely agree.
Charles Petrie does not agree, and he says it's terribly subjective about Batman being the best cartoon ever. So,
Okay, Charles, what is the best
Yeah.
cartoon ever?
Please.
Put up, or get up.
Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons sucks.
What?
I was
Which-
just picking a really, really
Which
babyish
actually
cartoon.
did exist because, again, of Batman.
Yeah.
Another Warner Brothers property, famously
Yes.
so.
Tiny Toons wasn't bad though. I'm not saying Tiny Toons was bad because some of Tiny Toons was really funny.
But I think it was one of those things that worked in the time it was in. I know this
Yeah.
is the Tiny
Yes.
Toons thing,
Yes.
but I've gone back to watch
Mhm.
And
it.
it doesn't.
It does not feel like it did when I was a kid.
No, Tiny Toons doesn't age well. Animaniacs doesn't age
Right.
well. I haven't watched Freakazoid. I don't,
No.
you know.
I liked Freakazoid a lot.
But would you like it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's here to
Freakazoid,
save the nation.
Freakazoid.
So stay tuned to the station.
Freakazoid fan for life.
Matt says the Dreamland podcast was awesome. Aaron and Melinda.
Thanks, Matt.
Here is Dreamland Kim.
Hello.
Thank you, Matt.
Hello.
We appreciate
To
that.
We
you,
don't get
the
Kim.
listener. Thank you for joining us today.
Armando says 5 pounds. That's what he says.
Oh,
Thank you, Armando. Appreciate that.
What a great name.
So this whole idea that it was this balance between darkness and comedy, I think, is best expressed in two things about this show. One, this show created Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Harley Quinn came from this show.
Well, didn't Poison Ivy come from the show too?
No, she was from the comics.
Well, but I'm just saying this is the first time you saw her portrayed in anything
outside,
other than the comic.
yeah, that's a good point. I don't think she was in the
she
Adam
wasn't
West
in-
show.
No, she wasn't in anything
Yeah.
until this one. And then, like, of course, I think Scarecrow wasn't, well, maybe not Scarecrow, Two-Face. I think this was the first time we saw, and there was a lot of firsts
Right, yeah.
in this.
Well, they had the time to go through the whole roster.
Yeah.
But the comedy also shows up not only in Harley Quinn and, of course, Mark Hamill's Joker.
Oh, the
But
best.
there's also this brilliant episode, the name of which I sadly cannot remember, but it's where all of the villains are in like a flop house playing poker. And each one starts telling their story of fighting Batman.
Oh, is this the one where they thought Batman was dead?
Something like that. Well,
Yes,
No,
well,
I remember
that's
it was
not
the
that
one
one.
guy.
That
It's not-
one's the man who killed Batman.
Yes.
It's got a different plot structure.
yeah,
Okay.
this one's just one where they're all telling their own story about how they got one over on Batman or something like that. And it's funny because each one has this very different perspective on how events went down, and then it cuts over to Killer Croc, and he's like, "I hit him with a rock," and they're like,
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
and
that.
they're like, "It's not really a
Okay.
story."
Sort of a Charlie Brown line, isn't it?
Hit him with
Yeah.
a rock.
Zantara says the artwork of that 4th season is lousy by comparison.
Yes.
They redesigned all the characters and only Scarecrow's was an improvement. And my opinion is a lot of people really like that revised Scarecrow, but I kind of prefer because there were 2 designs of Scarecrow. The very first way he looks in Batman the Animated Series is kind of lame. He looks like a sock puppet, but then like he gets a redesign in the next episode he shows up in, and he kind of looks like a real Scarecrow. And then by the 4th season, he looks like some sort of like he's kind of, I don't know, he just looks a little overly
it's
to me,
definitely
but I
different.
get why he looks more intimidating for sure.
Mhm.
Wicked Person says, I was at university, too grown up for cartoons, caught a glimpse of the animated series and said, "What's this? Batman for adults?" It wasn't packed with pratfalls and silly music and had pacing and pauses. Joker didn't mention Tashi Station.
It was a show that I said at the time, we just moved back from England and the show was already running and I was catching it.
You would have been in season 2 when you got back.
Yeah, it was summer of '93.
But they were still rerunning season
Yeah, I
1
would see
stuff.
season 1 stuff in the afternoon.
Right.
And I remember saying, why isn't this on primetime TV?
Well, what
Yeah.
channel did it? Was it? You said
It
it
was
an
Fox.
It was on Fox. Yeah.
Okay, because I never heard of it until I met Michael.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Fox.
Well, shocker of shockers. Do you know who else had never watched this until like last year? Our good friend Keith Holmesley, who is a massive
Keith?
Batman
I was
'89
fixing
fan.
to say, Keith, like,
Yeah.
he watched everything.
And he's a huge Burton Batman fan. And I'm
Right.
like, you've never seen this show?
Yeah,
Like it is the
if
Burton.
there's a show that's made
Yeah, for
for
Keith.
you,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because, like, not only had I never seen it, I'd never heard of it, I didn't know anything about it. And when I hear things like animated series, I think, oh, it's little kid stuff. So I never had any interest in seeing it. And then
Right.
when he was watching, I was like, man, this is actually really good.
kind of like Clone Wars, right? You were
Yeah,
like,
it's like-
but then you watch it, you're like, this is really good.
yeah, so I fell in love with it. And then I subsequently loved the Justice League and, you know,
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I like the style because a lot of it carried over to just, and even I like Batman portrayed in Justice League
I do too.
Because the bad guys, I mean, I think my favorite scene in all of Justice League is when it's Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, all of them are chasing this one guy and Batman's chasing him and they catch him and they're like, tell us what you know. And the bad guy's like, huh, you're the heroes. You're not going to hurt me. And Superman goes, not me. Him. And they move over and Batman grabs him. And all you see is Batman take him to the corner and whisper something. And all you hear is the guy going, oh God, no, no, please, I'll tell you anything. And Wonder Woman goes, what did he tell him? And Superman's like, you don't want to know. And I thought that
Superman
was the
can hear
best.
it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the best thing ever, right
Yeah,
there.
because Superman can hear anything Batman's saying. Yeah.
Scott says, my favorite episode may be Legends of the Dark Knight, where they pay homage to different versions of Batman from Dick Sprang and Frank Miller, and they even throw some shade at Joel Schumacher.
Oh, well, maybe I'll watch.
I haven't seen that. I don't think.
I'll have to check that.
Yeah.
I've seen them all at some point, but I don't specifically remember that one. Right now, I'm taking copious notes, episode by episode, on Bionic 6, and so I'm not in the middle of Batman animated right now.
So was it part of the actual show to do this? And I'll be quick. There was something I saw the other day where they actually had a scene where they had drawn Mark Hamill into the show, and he got picked up by a taxi driver who was voiced by Mark Hamill. And through the course of the car ride, every character, every villain Mark Hamill had done showed up and like wrecked the car. And there was all these references, like circular references.
What episode was
that?
It may have been
Rings
a
a
special
bell.
thing that they did just as a joke. But
Was that in the show?
I can't remember if it was. I want to say that was an episode, wasn't it?
It's
Was it
very
in-
possible.
I didn't see the episode to say.
They
but
did a lot of stuff like that.
It was
they were
really
known to
funny,
do
and they
that.
like an early instance of breaking the fourth wall where
Mhm.
Mark Hamill's like, yeah, I know who the Joker is. Yeah, I understand. It's like he knows that he voices the Joker. It's so strange seeing them sit.
It might have been something they did later, but
in season 4 or
I feel
something.
like I've seen that.
I don't remember that one.
Raymond says, hi all. In my opinion, Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman Bruce Wayne, his sense of
Yes.
gravitas was one of the key reasons for the longevity of the animated character from BTAS to Justice League, and one of my favorites, Batman Gotham Knight.
Oh yeah, that's the video game, isn't it?
Mhm.
Or is that right?
I think so.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
where the one where he's in Arkham.
Well, there's Arkham. No, that's Arkham Asylum. Then there's Batman Arkham Knights. Then there's
so many.
there's Batman.
There's 2 in Arkham, isn't there? There's 2
Yeah,
that's in Arkham.
there's 3 games overall. But
Yeah,
maybe
I know.
that's not a game. Maybe that's something else. Maybe that's like an animated special.
The episode you guys were
series.
talking about earlier, according to many people in the chat, is Almost Got Him.
Oh
Almost
yeah,
got him. There you go.
the one where all the villains are
Yeah.
playing poker. Yeah.
Zantara says everyone but her likes it.
It's good to be different.
Listen, I feel your pain on that because there's so many situations where it's like everybody loves this thing. Then I'm like, I don't get it. World Made of Cardboard says your favorite episode versus best episode.
Oh.
Well, I know my
episode.
favorite episode, which is
Okay.
a super, like a lot of people use it as their favorite episode, but I have a really good reason. So, as I just said, I hadn't seen this show or heard of it until like when we started dating, which was like 10 years ago. And so, when we got to Heart of Ice, and it's the whole Mr. Freeze
That is a
backstory
good
thing,
one,
and you know what I didn't know at that time, but what I know now is that before this, Mr. Freeze was just a random bad guy. He didn't have like this whole backstory, and they kind of created it much like they created Harley Quinn in this show.
Yes.
But they basically, as we're watching it, it was like 5 minutes into the show, I'm like, it's Dr. Phibes.
Mm.
And because I have seen the Abominable Dr. Phibes with Vincent Price like
Mhm.
5 times, and I was obsessed with it in my college years. And so we're watching it. I don't just mean the whole plot line about his wife and how she's sort of cryogenically preserved, and he's getting vengeance, and he's trying to bring her back, and he's doing like every single thing down the line is exactly that. And his voice, the weird echo effect that they put over it. There's a ton, because that's a 70s movie, right? So it's got this huge, like, echoey backstory. Like, he'll flash back and he'll be talking over, like, and you will get what you deserve. And it'll just be like voiceover, where it's showing how he set up these elaborate plans to, like, kill all the people who, like, got his wife in the situation that she's in. And it's like got all these weird Vincent Price, like echo chamber, Vincent Price talking. And that's literally what the guy sounds like when he's doing the voice in the
13
cartoon.
Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
And I was like, that is brilliant. Somebody was a big fan of that movie, clearly, and like literally just boom, boom. So that's both my favorite and I feel like one of the best episodes, if not the best episode.
Didn't we own that movie at some point in a disc set of Vincent Price? And then you
Maybe,
left,
but I
and
just
you
bought it on Blu-ray.
and you left it at somebody's house.
No.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
No,
Yeah, I think she
wouldn't.
did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I thought we took it over for a party or something.
You're thinking of a different movie.
Now,
and
my
it wasn't a
favorite is
classic.
not necessarily an episode, but I absolutely love Mask of the Phantasm. To me, that was just epic.
That came out Christmas Day,
Oh, yeah.
93 or
I went
94,
and saw
something
it
like that.
on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
In the movie theater by myself,
Uh-huh.
and I just fell in love with it because it was done so well. And the story was so good.
Mhm.
Just, I love how it ended and all that. It was just so good.
That whole thing in the World's Fair.
Oh yeah, where else when she's holding the Joker
Mhm.
and he's beat all to hell, and she's like, "He did this to us," and then as it starts to blow up, the Joker's just doing his laugh because he knows.
Right.
I mean, it's just epic.
It has one of the best examples in it of how they know how to write the Joker and to make him authentic. Like these filmmakers make him very in a pretentious way. They impose themselves on him.
Yes.
They don't understand him. There's this moment in the World's Fair where he's fighting Batman in the kitchen of the future.
Oh,
And you see Batman's got him down on the counter and you see his hand getting closer to the cutting knife. And then he cuts back and
and
Batman,
you think he's got the knife,
and then he just hits him with the sausage.
Yeah.
And it's
The
like,
bologna. I think it was
yeah,
bologna.
yeah, it's a big thing. And the whole point is that Joker knows he could have gotten the knife, but it's funnier to hit Batman with a big sausage in the face. So that's why he did that, because he's all about the joke. He's
Yeah,
not
about
you
the
know,
punchline.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
And
it's
that-
just like the man who killed Batman.
That's
the
about to
episode.
say
Yeah.
it ties into that one because that's the one I've most recently seen. So it's the one I'll pick as my favorite. And I know a lot of people feel like it's their favorite, but he's grieving because he no longer, without the bat, there is no joke. There is no
Mhm.
punchline,
Right.
right? And so he just sort of like goes through all this grieving and stuff. And then of course the joke is he's like, "Who wants Chinese?" And they go out and he kicks the guy into the acid bat.
I could go for some Chinese.
No kidding.
No,
Michael?
you have chocolate chip cookies upstairs.
I do. I
am
made
cooked.
Tim
That's
some
to
chocolate
distract
chip
you from the
cookies.
Chinese
I
food.
am like, holy cow.
So best versus favorite. So I don't know if this is a best episode or a favorite episode, but I really love the one where Bullock begs Batman for help with this guy sending him death threats.
That's a good because he hated
Yeah.
even asking him for help.
Right. And then you
Yeah.
get all the way to the end and find out it's his landlord
That
because
was a good one.
he's such a sleaze bag.
That one is good.
He drove his landlord crazy, and Batman's just like, you're
Speaking of landlords, have you seen Pacific Heights yet?
I'm gonna throw something.
Starring
out there.
Michael
That's a little
Keaton.
early.
Starring Michael Keaton.
It's a little early to throw that one at him.
Look, you guys, I saw an opening and I took it. Timothy-
Anyways, let me go ahead and just say that I love Batman Beyond as much as I love the Batman the Animated Series.
I love Batman Brave and the Bold as much as I love the animated series.
Good
So-
pick.
Thanks.
Good pick.
Timothy Ward says, toward the picking on Picard cam. I don't know what that means, but
Well, he's wanting to see the final edit of Picking on Picard, which I'll probably end up working on a little bit next week.
does the audience know what we're talking about?
Oh, maybe they don't.
They don't because it was
That's
Patreon only.
right. So Tim and I are doing a new sub-series called Picking on Picard, which is an episode by episode rundown review series of all the episodes of the new Star Trek Picard TV show. I've never seen it. He's seen it once all the way through. He's a Trek expert. I'm an above average Trek aficionado. So I'm going to be editing together our first episode, which we've already shot here in the next week or so. But I'm trying to finish up this really big video first. So we're still shooting.
Trust me, the video that is being worked on is going to be epic.
Rush Patel says, I was fortunate to witness the Man-Bat episode at SDCC
Yes.
before the show debuted. Now,
Nice.
that is on leather wings or on wings
Yeah.
of leather or something
Mhm.
like that. And
That was the premiere
the
episode.
fir-
Yeah.
Well, was it? Because everything that I've read says that it was the Catwoman episode that was
That
the
is
first
the
episode.
way we were talking about this earlier. So right now, if you've got HBO, whatever iteration it's in now,
Max.
I don't ever remember. Then if you go watch it, episode 1 is the Catwoman episode. So they're displaying it.
So there was the broadcast order.
I see you shaking your head.
Production
but
order.
that's the thing. There's broadcast and production.
So everything that we have found is that the broadcast order was not even close to the production order, much like the original series of Star Trek and Firefly and some notorious
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. There are things that are way out of order, and it always kind of messes with me. I prefer to watch it in production order, which is how, if you have the DVD or Blu-rays, I don't know if they're DVDs or Blu-rays, but the discs, then they are in production order. But if you're watching it on HBO Max, Aaron says that it's in the broadcast order. And so
that threw me off, because I brought up that I started watching it and you were like, oh, with the On Leather Wings. And I was like, no, it was some episode about
that
Catwoman.
was the first one in production order.
Okay.
And so the Catwoman 2-parter was the first episode that supposedly was aired. Now, it is possible, I guess, that if it's Fox, I don't know if they sold it individually to like local stations at that time, if they were still doing that, and if they would have broadcast it differently depending on your area.
Now, I know for a fact that at least here in the Southeast, the On Leather Wings or whatever, Leather Wings or whatever, that was the first premiered episode.
That's what I thought.
So I don't know how it played out differently, because remember, this was also a time where certain people had Robotech. We didn't have Robotech.
Right.
So who knows what happened.
And it could have been that it didn't happen until you saw it in syndication, and then in syndication it got reordered or something like that.
I don't know.
But yeah, when I go to HBO whatever and I hit play on the first episode, it's the Catwoman episode, and so that threw me off when I was trying to cherry pick, and I was trying to find episodes, and it was like, that's season 2, episode 23. And then I would go into the system, choose season 2, try to find 23, and it stops at 20. And then come to find out that's actually season 1, episode 49 or something. So it was really like confusing for a minute trying to run these down.
Bob says what you're talking about is from a different Batman series than Batman the Animated Series, but you just watched it earlier today.
Yeah, and it's listed as Batman the Animated Series in.
So he watched it this morning on HBO. That's why he's talking about. So
well, here in the Blu-ray set,
not that, but like the one about all the guys talking about. Like, or
it's on Leather Wings.
That's the other one. The Man Who Killed Batman is
The Man Who Killed Batman. That's the one you watched.
And that was listed as episode 43 or 9 of season 1.
That one was pretty far.
So Steven says Batman the Animated Series was broadcast on Saturday mornings in the UK.
Well, how appropriate.
As it probably should have been if it wasn't going to be prime time.
Well, that sounds like prime time when we were kids.
World Made of Cardboard says, Aaron, the episode you remember is one of Justice League Action.
The one about the Man Who Killed Batman?
I don't
know. No, the Mark Hamill one. The Mark Hamill one, I think.
The Mark Hamill one.
Okay,
Sorry,
so they did that. Makes sense that happened later.
Yeah.
And they had all of his characters show up at some point as he was trying to ride in the taxi cab. And I've only seen a clip of it because it came up on Reddit like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Thunder Robot says it was an anniversary short.
Yeah,
so.
It's good. If you can find it, check it out. It's actually pretty funny.
I'll have to look for it. I'll definitely. It sounds hilarious. So
Brian says, I loved the respect paid to Adam West with the Grey Ghost. I think that was very, very cool too. It helped validate his contribution to Batman and the recognition of the Bright Knight.
Yeah, also known as the Caped Crusader.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love how everybody now calls him the Bright Knight. It's like, well, no, there was the Dark Knight and the Caped Crusader. He was the Caped Crusader.
Cape Crusader sounds a lot cooler than the Bright Knight.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, that sounds something. I'm envisioning something on a light bright for some reason.
And now they're just reinventing
Bright Knight
Batman
on a light
every
bright.
year.
Oh, I know.
Fat Steven Seagal beat up Twitter says, I can't fit in Arkham Asylum without butter.
I'm sorry?
All right.
I mean, that's unfortunate.
That's a brand new sentence.
That was a line.
Oh, is it?
I think it was a line.
Rush Patel says, my favorite Batman moment is the death of Ace in Justice League
Unlimited.
I know it's not Batman the Animated Series.
Ace. I don't think I remember that one.
I have the whole series on
I'll have to
Blu-ray,
look it
so
up. This is where I did love Justice League Unlimited, but I was a late comer to the series, and I loved what I saw, a lot of it. But then it got really weird because I was trying to figure out the Justice League versus Justice League Unlimited and the order of things, and I never got deep enough into it. You guys are definitely going to be better at that than me, because honestly, Batman the animated series, and then I took a break and had a family. But then my kids started getting on it to watch cartoons, and then Batman Beyond came on, and me and my boys loved Batman Beyond, and we watched all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, I got a lot of super chats. So, if I can get back down to this one, Rick says the voice of Mr. Freeze was the actor who portrayed Kang in Buck Rogers.
Oh yeah. Gosh, what was his? Not
you don't look at me. I'm
not
horrible with names.
He was in Dick Tracy.
I'm gonna have to keep going. Jura says, did you read and collect the 90s comic books?
No, but I knew of them.
Probably should have, but I did not.
Rick says, I meant to say Kane, not Kang. He portrayed Kang in Star Trek.
Okay.
Oh, really?
We've got 3 points now.
So I know who you're talking about then for sure. I can't remember his name.
Scott says, not to be all get off my lawn about it, but I hate what's been done to Harley Quinn in the last 20 years. Ironically enough, it's like she lost all her depth when she left the cartoon.
Yeah, I would not disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Harley Quinn as a character. I thought she was a really unique character that we hadn't really seen anyone like before. And I mean, it's a tricky situation, obviously, because of all the violence involved in it, but that is also a real reality for some people. And I just think that it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't think she's ever been done well in a film. I've never seen her done well in anything else other than this series. Like,
yeah,
she's very weirdly nuanced in this cartoon.
Well, even when they went into the Batman Beyond movie, Return of the Joker, and they show what happened to Robin, which is really dark.
Yeah, I remember
Harley Quinn was done really well, and even she comes back as a grandmother, which I thought was hilarious. She had a lot of depth.
Grandma Quinn.
Yeah.
I just think that, I think that the character has a lot there, but it's just usually not developed well. And
well, they've turned it into something almost like a sex symbol, and she wasn't a sex symbol in Batman the Animated Series.
No. Poison Ivy was more of a sex symbol
definitely,
than Harley. Like, if you're gonna do that, then
Catwoman was
very sultry and
so
whatever.
Was Batgirl,
but Harley was more
not Harley.
Like, I don't know. It's not to say that she wasn't. Anyway, it's a difficult thing, but I just think that this
may be controversial, but I think that for every little bit that they kind of got right about Harley Quinn in the what was the first movie? I'm sorry, it just ran
Mask
out of my
of the Phantasm.
No. I mean the first live action movie, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
For if there's any little bit of Harley Quinn that they got into that character, I feel like the Birds of Prey movie they came out right after it just proved they lost it.
Oh,
like, they totally went
the worst movie.
If they got any closer to her, they went the other direction with Birds of Prey.
And my wife
couldn't
loves
even finish the movie.
Suicide Squad. She actually loves that movie. She likes Harley, but she does agree with you, Melinda. She says the same thing. She goes, "It's Harley. It can be Harley. It's a fun character, but it's definitely not the Harley Quinn from Batman. For sure." So,
and it's a shame because I think there's a lot there that you could do with that character, and they just haven't ever. I don't know, whatever. Michael says Kay Conroy and Mark Hamill were so iconic as Batman and Joker that they reunited them in The Killing Joke 20 years later. They're still awesome.
Which is a very disturbing movie.
Well, it's based on a very disturbing comic.
Yeah, I got the comic
dark
on Kindle, right? Or so I could read it on a tablet. So going through it.
And I watched The Killing Joke, and it's good. But it goes places I don't really ever want it to go.
Right. Well, that's because they changed certain things in that movie that weren't even
Joker something that I didn't like.
Those things weren't even in the comic.
Right.
That was the controversy, is that they took liberties with the Joker story in the animated version and dialed everything up. In the comic, people were like, "This is BS." That was never in the comic,
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like the fact that even though Joker was evil,
he had limits.
Yeah, even he had limits, right?
He hit Batman with a sausage,
right?
Like he was still trying to have fun, and like they say in Firefly, where does that get fun?
Right. Well, I guess they go back and forth, right? I mean, you can look at every season of Batman, the animated series, and see kind of a little bit of a different Joker.
Right.
It's a little different
Mhm.
in each one.
So for everyone who's arguing about which one was aired first, all I'm going to say is if you go out right now and look up on the internet which one was aired first, you will find differing stuff. And the thing is I am reluctant, as much as you guys are very firm in your memories, I'm very reluctant to rely on memories. I would prefer to rely on like TV guide schedules or something in writing. So if you think that it doesn't really matter, but I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff out on the internet that would tell you that the Catwoman two-parter is the first episode that was
It just sounds to me like the people who ran the stations had scruples and said, no, I'm not showing that one. I'm showing the correct first
and I don't
episode.
know. I don't know how that worked. I just work here. Jim Largo says, I loved that Batman the Animated Series showed Alfred as an essential part of Bruce's operation as the Bat. The toys were fun, and the show was like watching a comic book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I felt like, as much as it doesn't get as much love, I felt like Superman the Animated Series in its first 2 seasons was a good companion piece to that show. Much like Batman's 4th season, Superman Animated's 3rd season was a complete pratfall of poor animation quality. You could tell the studio had dropped support for it.
Yes.
But the first 2 seasons I thought were really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Logan Michael says, what are your thoughts on Batman Beyond?
Loved it. I think they did a fantastic job. Some of it was real dark. The whole tree guy, the guy in the ground with the tree, and he was stuck in the ground with all the veins of toxic waste feeding him. And the guy and his partner left him there to die and raised his daughter as his own. And he was coming back for vengeance. I mean, there's some dark stuff in there that was really good. So, and I actually, but I will say the only thing, and let me step back a little bit. The only thing I did not like about Batman Beyond is how they tried to make Terry McGinnis become Bruce Wayne's kid instead of being just some kid that worked at Wayne Corp. His dad worked. I didn't like how they tried to tie all that together. I thought we didn't need that. I thought it was
it's
inconsequential to the story.
Kind of like making C-3PO your dad's old model kit from when he was a kid. It's
exactly.
like, why?
Yeah.
World Made of Cardboard says the episode was missing the mark of Justice League action, where Mark Hamill voiced every character he did.
Cool.
Nice.
Thank you.
Like a tour de force of Mark Hamill voices.
Well, if we
Never
think
had
about
too
it,
much
I
Mark
mean,
Hamill.
is there another laugh that you can just play by itself around the world and everybody's going to go, Mark Hamill is the Joker?
Right.
I mean, it's that iconic.
Yeah.
Just
It's as iconic as Eddie Murphy's laugh in Beverly Hills Cop.
It is every bit.
That laugh just made me laugh again. Remembering it made me laugh.
Wicked Person says the Broken Bat 90s comics storyline first pulled me back into, then pushed me right back out of collecting Batman in paper once they paralyzed him.
Yeah, Wicked. I was the same way. I was so excited to collect Batman, and then they were like, and he's broken and a new guy in a robot suit. And I'm like, oh, no thanks.
Brian says Batman the Animated Series also created Renee Montoya, now the Question.
Oh, I didn't realize she'd become the Question, but I do remember her in the show. She was
Yeah.
the competent cop.
Yeah. And what's funny
Did
is
she become the Question?
I didn't. Well, and that's
That's a good question.
yeah.
Is
That's
the
Yeah, that's
question.
why I'm sitting back going, really?
Jeez.
I just started rewatching the second of the Nolan Batman movies, and I think Montoya is in there, right, as one of the cops.
Oh, is she?
Is she?
But she's not really painted very much. Like she's
She
not got a
might
lot
be.
of roles.
Maybe, oh, is she in
I
Dark?
just-
Is she in Dark Knight Rises? Is that
Yeah,
right?
I think so. I just remember a reference to something about like, I investigated all your cops, Gordon, Montoya, so and so, and
I do think I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zantara says the top-notch voice casting by Andrea Romero was incredible. Besides Hamill, you had John Glover as Riddler, Richard Mole as Two-Face, Paul Williams as Penguin, and my personal favorite, Roddy McDowell as the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
just talking about that before the show, actually.
And it jumped down again, so...
jumpy jump. It's a jumping down and making it hard. to
Retro
read.
Station 89 says, hey, Mike and Melinda, fan of the show from Wisconsin. Also, your Repro Cop video, incredible. Look into the collecting world. You were an Army kid, Mike. Did you ever watch Guy King? Well, I was the Army kid, not Mike.
Yeah, Melinda's the Army kid, not me. I did not watch Guy King. I didn't have access to that show as a child. I am aware of the name, but it wasn't in my market.
I think he was saying you were the Army kid, and then he commas and says Mike. You ever watch Guy King?
Could
So
be.
that's the
Could
changeover
be.
from the person.
Either
who
way,
English.
you still haven't heard of it.
I haven't.
Or
I haven't
Guy
watched it. But thank
I've
you.
never heard of it, so
Thank you for the kind words about Repro Cops. That was a big video
Yes.
for us. Not as big as the one we're working on now, but it was.
I
Yeah.
mean, not to sell it short. But
No.
this video is going to be epic.
It has
really
many
is.
rich mahogany bookshelves.
It does.
It's very important.
It's very, very important.
It's kind of
It's gonna be-
what's next?
She's playing with the cameras again.
I am. Scott says, "Look, I set up that camera.
It's the little things. It's the little
I'm going to
things.
use it a couple of times." Scott Knudsen says, "Thinking about how they dealt with the origins of Batman and Robin, has any children's show ever dealt with the consequences of violence in such a mature manner? I can't think of any."
Let's
Maybe
see.
recently,
It's
they seem to
probably, like,
love going
It's
down that
probably
path
the
now.
first one to
How
really-
how into this kind of material did the '90s Spider-Man show go? Did it get
No, it was a cartoon version of itself to me.
okay?
It was not. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was definitely some things in there, but
Mhm.
but not like Batman the Animated
I feel like
Series.
Batman certainly in this incarnation of it really is sort of setting the tone of, and it's probably from the movies, the 89 movie starting that off, where it's really like every character in Batman, whether they're a good guy or a bad guy, for the most part, has some sort of horrific thing done to them, like some sort of massive trauma that they go through. That's Batman and Robin each have like horrible childhood traumas. All of the villains, for the most part, have horrible things happen to them. Sometimes they were already bad guys and it made them worse. Sometimes, like in the case of Two-Face, it just enhanced something that was already kind of broken about their psyches. But it's all about how you then channel that out. So like you go through trauma and you can either use it and turn it into being like this hero guy, or you go evil with it. And so like just that as a subject matter is really dark and heavy for a kid to deal with, parents being murdered. Like there's that scene where it shows Robin's backstory where his parents are killed. And of course they can't show it, but the way they show it is the parents are swinging from this rope and then the rope breaks and it just shows the rope swing back into frame and it's frayed at the bottom and you just hear everyone screaming in the crowd. That's horrific. Like your child brain like fills in the blanks. So like
That's
there's
almost
a
more
lot of
traumatizing than seeing the actual thing happen sometimes.
right, but it's kind of cool. Like I remember thinking of stuff like as a kid, thinking like when you would see stuff like that the adults are talking to you like an adult.
Mhm.
And that's what like I remember as a kid, I hated people talking down to me like, "Would you like some ice cream?" Like I wanted somebody to go, "Hey, Melanie, you want some ice cream?" You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
and so I felt like when most of the time I didn't like cartoons because they were so made for little kids.
Even
and
though you
this-
talk to Michael that way.
Have on your grumpy pants. Have on your grumpy pants.
Wow.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Hot takes with Tim.
It's okay. I'll put a check mark next to your name in my brain.
It's okay, Tim. Don't worry
You'll
about
you'll
it.
pay for it later.
It'll
I
be
will. I
fine.
definitely will.
Do you want a cookie?
I do want a cookie.
Here's the thing, Michael likes that.
Oh.
When I talk to
well.
him.
Well, I'm gonna run upstairs for a minute and throw this.
Michael's like, I'm just sitting here.
I'm gonna go throw this in the recycling and
Do
breach.
you know how many enemies I already have?
They-
They're not watching this.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
That's all
man.
they have to do.
I promise you, Michael does not like that, and I don't do that. That was a joke.
See, we even scared Aaron away with that one. He's like, "Nope, I'm just running. I'm just running away."
David March says, I loved Harley Bullock. He was my favorite.
Harvey.
character." It says, I'm reading what it says.
I thought you said Harley Bullock.
I said Harvey Bullock.
Yeah,
I
he was
loved
good.
Harvey Bullock. He was my favorite character. One favorite episode is the one where they auction off Bruce Wayne's name and Two-Face didn't believe it.
Trying to remember that one.
I'm trying to remember that one too.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to.
There's so much. I mean, every episode of this thing is deep. I
Yeah.
mean, that was the other thing about Batman the Animated Series is there's stuff even within an episode that's a story itself. It's-
Yeah.
I mean, it was a deep.
Well, you know,
cartoon.
there's certain amounts of meta plotting with the character progressions, like when Robin finally gets tired of being Batman's sidekick and they have more than a few, they butt heads more than a few
Yes.
times. And, they don't just immediately have in fact, they don't even have Robin in the show to begin with for the first first season, it's mainly Batman. Then Batgirl shows up after Robin's already there. Because
by the time you get to Batman Beyond, one of the favorite lines is when Terry McGinnis is talking to Commissioner Gordon, but it's Batgirl, right? It's Commissioner Gordon. And he's like, has he always been like that? And she goes, you think we have issues? Wait till you talk to Nightwing.
Oh,
you know, it's like, I mean, right?
It's yeah.
H is for Heretic says, don't forget David Warner as Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah. David Warner played,
I
famously.
do love this version of Ra's al Ghul, and I don't feel like I've ever seen him in any other, much like many of these other characters. That's the best depiction of him I've ever seen.
When they dunk him into the Lazarus pit, and he jumps out shirtless.
Oh my
he's
God.
like a spider on the ground. He jumps up, and he's just like, and Batman punches.
great.
He's like, grabs his, you're just like, what is the Lazarus pit? What is it?
Map Film Production says Robotech when Roy and Ben get killed. So as a dealing with adult situations in a cartoon form. So Robotech.
Yeah.
Robotech only because probably it's modeled after a Japanese cartoon.
We didn't have Robotech
and
here.
we didn't
Yeah,
here, but
I-
in the States, other people
Yeah.
did. And it's very true to its original Japanese storyline. And so that's why I think it talks to kids like adults.
But
because-
what Robotech had, the thing that made Robotech different and shocking to me as a kid who had grown up in the 80s with Batman was Robotech had sci-fi tech. And yes, it was realistic for what it was, but it was in the future.
Right.
Whereas this, you've
Was
got
kind of-
dudes pulling out actual Tommy guns and pistols and
Yes.
shooting bullets at people. And I remember going, that was a huge no-no like 5 years ago
Right.
in our cartoons.
Well,
What
I think that
happened?
was the big thing is
Yeah.
we were shocked, at least here again in the Southeast, because they did, whether people that have not lived in the Southeast won't realize that in the 80s and early 90s, there was a lot of cartoons that the networks here would not allow
Mhm.
on the air
Right.
because of the amount of violence. Oh, look at you. You are just the man.
AL
Thank you.
says Gargoyles
I'm
did
good.
violence well, so that was 1994. And so yes, I agree that they did, but this show came first. And then Saturday Morning Fan says some anime did as Cities of Gold and Captain Power.
Oh, Mysterious Cities of Gold.
Yeah.
Well, we were kindly donated that series, and I plan to watch it. So I'll be looking for that when I watch it. Thank you.
Mr. GL 1973 says, according to Back Issue Magazine number 99, On Leather Wings, oh, good, thank you, aired 9/6/92, and The Cat and the Claw two-parter aired 9/5/92.
And 9/12.
And 9/12. So
So there were two
So-
back-to-back episodes on the 5th and the 6th.
Okay.
Well, so it looks like it aired like this: part 1 of The Cat and the Claw, then On Leather Wings, and then part 2 of The Cat and the Claw.
Well, that's dumb.
Mhm.
But that's how these things were. So thank you for that information.
And it was
That's
another
really-
Fox Kids blunder, because that's why I didn't watch X-Men animated, because they played Night of the Sentinels part 1
Mhm.
the first time I watched it. Then I waited a week and I picked up on Saturday morning to watch it again, and it was still Night of the Sentinels part 1. And I said, screw this show. And I never watched it again.
You get one chance with Michael.
That's right.
One chance.
Not unfair.
Sean says, I know it's not the exact topic, but what are your thoughts on Batman the Brave and the Bold? Well, I personally love Brave and the Bold.
Mhm.
I love it. I
Yeah.
think it's different, but every bit as good. I love the fact that they weren't afraid to kind of go really wacky, but there are still some really touching moments because you're not expecting them. So when they happen, you're like, oh my God. Oh, it's my Aquaman.
So, Michael, I have a question for you.
This is how I feel about Batman Brave and the Bold.
Outrageous.
It is funny.
It's so good. I love it.
It's a great show.
Matt Hall says, just hopped on. Have we talked about the baby doll episode yet? Gut wrenching. Do I know what that is? Do you know? what that
Is the baby doll?
Yeah, it's the one with not the one from the 4th season. I don't think it's the one where there's the little girl who, she's not really a little girl, but she calls herself Baby Doll.
She the
Is
one
that
that's
the one that
part
was
of
part of
the
Clayface?
Clayface thing?
Yeah,
No.
Tim brought that.
No, I don't-
Tim brought that one
I
up
can't
earlier.
see. This is where
I
the
don't
name-
think so.
I
This is a
really
no.
got
This
the
is a
name.
different episode. This is one where she's not really a little girl. She's actually an adult woman, but she's got this like
Oh, that's right. Where she's got the gold locks. But
Uh-huh.
she's actually leader of a gang.
yeah,
No, I do remember that. That one was kind of a
yeah,
freaky
it's
episode.
messed up. Yeah,
Because I think by the end, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm having to really stretch my memory here, what was weird about that is that she has a gun at the end,
mm-hmm.
and like she was shooting, but she's out of bullets, but she starts crying because she never grew up to be a woman, and she's just sitting there pulling the trigger, clicking,
Right.
She's
crying,
like the little girl in Interview with a Vampire.
very much like that. And then she's just pulling the triggers and crying. Batman's walking
Right.
straight up to her and grabs her. And
Yeah.
I remember. I do. You're right. That was a very gut wrenching episode.
Yeah.
Ashraf says, I knew that Batman animated series was a classic when my kids who were born years after the show went off the air would watch and like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
It definitely holds up to the test of time. I'm trying to think of some other episodes that I really liked. Of course, I loved the episode where Batgirl comes into it.
Yeah.
I loved how Robin kept spotting her at these events and being like, what is going on? Who is this? You know, like, and he was the
So
driving,
annoying.
he was the, what?
He's so annoying.
No, he was good in that episode. I liked
No,
Robin.
but it is interesting that in Batman Beyond, they go into the fact that Batgirl and Robin had a thing,
Yeah.
but then Bruce swept in and took Batgirl away from him and then married her.
What?
In Batman Beyond, yes.
I don't like that show
There's
anymore.
a whole thing about that where she left Robin to be with Bruce Wayne, and they actually were married for a time.
What?
Weirdly
Yes.
incestuous.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa,
I
whoa.
got
yeah.
super chats, guys.
Whoa.
Retro Station says children in peril is taboo
Awesome.
these days. Even light stuff
Mm-mm.
like Neverending Story or The Goonies would be PG-13 these days. Is there any retro cartoon, Dungeons and Dragons, Mask, etc., you'd like to see a reboot of?
Retro Station, I am at a point where I've seen
I'm
so many
sick of reboots.
I've seen so many inept reboots. I just want them to come up with an original idea.
Just show me
It's
something new.
It's a big ask.
I know, but
You're asking a lot of these people.
Well, here's something I've been wanting to ask you to get your reason for this. Why is it, and people will disagree with me on the chat, why is it WB or Warner Brothers in the DC universe, they can't get a live action movie right, but they can get the animated universe so right, and then just flip it on the Marvel, while X-Men was okay, Marvel can't seem to get a really good, to me, animated universe going, but they've got a great live action universe. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
separate creative teams that don't have anything to do with one another, and the lightning in a bottle to get two creative teams of that caliber under one roof at the same time.
Because whoever the dominant paradigm is at that network, they're going to be focusing on the films. And so they get people who are doing very different stuff to do the animation. So if they're overly serious in their films, they let the cartoons be a little wacky and vice versa, probably. And so they're like, it's fine. It's animation. No one cares about that.
Or
Or-
WB does great. Even though I know there's some stuff right now, I don't like some of the Batman stuff right now, but really in the aughts, all the WB animation stuff was Emerald Knights. I loved Emerald Knights.
But
all that
they
stuff.
just
I mean,
have that ability. Like they have that team in place, and that team is still making a consistent amount of profit for them. So they haven't totally shaken that team up yet. Whereas with DC's movie side, they can't get anything to stick. And so they keep switching it up, and it's just chaos all the time.
Yeah.
Christopher says Gargoyles and Exo Squad was on the dark side. Gun violence and safety was covered in Gargoyles, and Exo Squad was a war drama where main characters died.
Yeah.
I have Exo Squad season 1. I haven't got season 2 yet, but I did love that. This was a show I was telling Michael a lot about, to your point of where the battle, I mean, it was very Robotech type to me, but to your point, the fact that it was really a civil war and it was going planet to planet, I mean, it really was interesting.
Mhm.
for
Matt
sure.
says, Melinda, should Michael Keaton have done a third Batman movie? I would say only if it's being directed by
Burton.
Burton, because the director is the one that's going to set the tone more than the actor, and
Kind of
that's
like
why
with music, the producer is probably the reason you like an album is because the producer liked that sound, made that sound.
Well, do you remember how
don't know about
heavy?
that.
It's not always the same with Metallica, but a lot of times, especially in this day and age with streaming, I'll find a group and I really like them, and if I can figure out who that producer is and find out what else they've produced, I will typically find another band that I like as well.
Can you remember? Any of you remember though? I mean, all of us remember the summer of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That McDonald's, Spencer's Gifts, the drugstore.
I
You
remember-
couldn't go anywhere without either a Batman pin, hat, T-shirt.
Well, that
Yeah, but
was
toys.
I think that like everybody was like, Michael Keaton's going to be a terrible Batman. What are they
Mhm.
thinking?
Well, I
And
was
then
fixing
as
to go
soon as-
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as he did it, they were like, he's great.
everybody was like, Mr. Mom
Every
is Batman.
subsequent Batman, including Robert Pattinson, has been smacked with that same crap.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up being embraced by a lot of the fan base, and then whoever the next unlucky person is gets Ben Affleck. He's not. Who's gonna? Bleh. And then they're like, Ben Affleck's great Batman. It's like,
No, he wasn't.
Dude,
Batman.
like it's not the
I thought it
actor;
was
it's
fine.
whoever's writing the lines
I don't know.
and
Yes,
making the movie.
right there.
Like if you put Ben Affleck in those early '89 films, it's still going to be a good film. Like I don't even Christian Bale, who I hate as an actor, if he had been in a movie that was like written more lighthearted, like the '89 style Batman that had some funny stuff and he was given more to do, it probably would have also been very good and I wouldn't have hated him as much. I'm
in a
just saying.
world where Batman has throat cancer. Christian Bale. Batman Begins.
They should just get LaFontaine to do the Batman voice.
Yeah.
In
I say, for me, I don't like Affleck, and I just
It's Affleck.
whatever.
Affleck is a duck.
Yes,
Whatever.
he
I
he's the
think
he acts well. Him and the Duck have about the same level of acting skill, in my mind.
See, that's how I feel about
So,
Christian Bale. So I guess my point
Also
is
not true.
the
Ben Affleck
biggest,
is an
the
okay actor.
biggest part that makes a difference, in my opinion, is the writing and the directing of a film. Very rarely do you have an actor that's going to be cast in a movie that big, that's going to be so bad that even an excellently written and crafted film is going to be torn down by the actor. It's highly unusual.
We
I
should
can't
get Neil
even think of
Breen.
an example.
Tim, your favorite movie is Attack of the Clones, and Hayden Christensen plays
say it was my
Anakin.
favorite.
Hayden Christensen
favorite Star
wasn't
Wars?
even
Favorite
given
Star Wars
anything
movie.
to do.
Yeah.
I know, that's my point. Saying you don't blame Hayden Christensen for any of the problems in that film, that although you do think it's the best Star Wars movie. Point is that a good script can
So
really.
you like Ben Affleck as Batman?
I haven't watched Ben Affleck as Batman. What I'm saying is I'm going to give the writer and director more scrutiny up front before I blame
Oh,
an
don't,
actor.
I am not going to say the writing wasn't crap, because it was, but he's the same. He's the same in every movie. Look,
Okay.
no, you can play Argo, which I loved Argo. Truly love that movie. Right next to him in every scene of Batman, and it's the same dude. The exact same
So
dude.
he's
So it's-
typecast.
So it's like if Harrison Ford played Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, super
Same
chats.
person.
Yeah.
Thunder Robot says Harley was well done in Birds of Prey TV show. They made her the main villain of the show using her psychology degree to be a threat.
Okay.
Okay, I've never seen it.
Yeah. I've never
It's
seen.
out there on HBO
just-
Max. I have
I
not watched
Tend
it
to
yet.
not watch stuff with Harley Quinn in it because she
Yeah.
usually just looks like a
Toy.
slutty junkie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lio Convoy says, just watch the new Space Jam commercial. My soul hurts.
just to bring
I've
us a little
avoided
off.
I don't
I've
even
not
know what
seen
you're
it.
talking about, and my
They,
soul hurts.
they
That's-
remade another Space Jam.
Yeah, and there's a lot of outcry right now because they've redirected the old website, which has been live all this time, to the new website, and people are like, "I'll never forgive them for this."
Well, and the original one, talk about something that does not age well.
yeah,
That movie doesn't age well.
Rush Patel says, animated series did justice to the portrayal of Raish as well as introducing awesome obscure DC characters like Jonah Hex.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
I
They
would agree
they
with that.
they took some real deep dives into the DC Comics lore. Yeah.
Retro Station says Brave and the Bold, the Jamie Reyes Blue Beetle episodes and Buona Beast episodes. Didn't Music Meister win an Emmy? Should have. I'm the Music Meister. That's
The baby.
NPH, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So good.
Broken Sing.
Aztec
I've never
Los-
understood that character.
I mean, either.
Oh my god. It's
What?
like, it's so great.
No, Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle.
Oh.
I can always tell when she didn't actually hear the subject of what we were commenting on.
Because you're over there muttering.
Also, she's reading super chat.
I am. Aztec Low says, before the MCU, CW,
Really?
DC.
She's
Wow.
explained this to you guys after every single episode that while she's reading a super chat, she can't hear you talking.
I can't both take in and put out information.
Okay, sit over there and
Don't-
pout. Sit over there and pout. Act like you didn't hear it when she did that. It's fine.
What the?
Did she just say that she couldn't put out?
No, that was Aaron.
Wow.
That was Aaron.
Aztec Low says, before
Wow.
the MCU, CW, DC movie crossovers, Batman animated series crossing over with Superman animated series was a big event to me.
Yeah, where Bruce
That
Wayne
sounds pretty cool.
played Superman, or Superman
I don't
played Bruce
even-
Wayne.
Yeah, it was called World's Finest,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And they had the two-parter, and Lex Luthor had that big suit of armor or something at the end. And
Him and the Joker were
yeah,
working together and all.
it was a great way to introduce the Superman animated show. Yeah.
MMA Panda says, I liked the episode where Harley and Poison Ivy team up. Can you guys one day have a transforming robot live stream? Love the streams. Wow, that's just a whole lot of ideas in a row.
transforming the robot stream. I mean,
So, because all transforming robots.
So
as
Voltron,
toys?
Transformers.
we kind of already did this in the after show because we unboxed Fort Max. And
I mean, we can do that
transformed
though.
him.
We can have all the different transforming robots because there were more than just Transformers.
Oh yeah, and GoBots,
Rock Lords, Ditarn. I don't have them all though because a lot of them are very expensive, and I don't have them. Just,
Full transparency.
I'm
That's
just
a-
saying.
No,
That's
no,
a-
you're not wrong.
That's a big rate limiting step for you, I know.
It is, well, I'm just.
James Morrison says The Mechanic is a phenomenal episode.
Is that the one with Charles Bronson and Jan Michael Vincent? No, wait, that's the movie The Mechanic. Never mind.
No, there was. I
Wow.
do remember the episode called Mechanic.
It's a deep
And,
cut.
It is.
if I'm not mistaken, it was the whole father-daughter, and then they figure out who Batman is and all that. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a really long time.
Andrew Sabina says animation
And
caters
he
more to fans, where
sets them up.
films try to appeal to a wider audience. Just speculation. I think that makes a lot of sense, actually, because animation is just gonna be focused on a much smaller group. They know they're not going to make as much money as they're expecting in a.
Here's
cinematic
where
But
I
it doesn't cost as
here's
much
where
either.
I disagree on that though, for recent times. Because the way they've been treating Batman and Superman in the latest movies caters to a very niche audience. It does not cater to a general
No,
audience.
that's a good point.
We're gonna do a hybrid of Dark Knight Returns and Batman versus or Superman versus
And Batman
Doomsday.
Year One.
Yeah, Batman Year One, and it's like the audience doesn't know what they're watching here.
Lio Convoy says, Tim, DC can't get movies right because they want big Hollywood names on staff. They don't care about lore for that.
True.
I agree.
Flomuz says, I think one great villain was the ventriloquist.
Yes, with Scarface.
yeah,
the
that was a
dumb.
good one.
Yeah, he's one of the hardest figures to get in the later Kenner line. He only comes in a multi-pack.
And I can say from watching Michael, he's one of the hardest figures to get to stand up.
Yeah, he doesn't stand up worth a dang.
No,
I
but
was
it's
like-
a cool figure. It's
Yeah.
a cool figure.
I did not understand that his hand went up his back like that.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
a
what is
really-
Yeah, it's
happening?
really intricate.
I was
It's
like,
impressive
how am
they
I
got
supposed
that
to
stuff.
stand
I'm
this
going to
little
say
thing up?
that of all the shows out there, Batman the Animated Series did the best job on giving depth to the villains.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
I mean, almost more than they did the hero.
They have such a great villains.
the
gallery.
best villains came from Batman the
mean-
Animated Series. I mean, all of them are great.
Yeah, look at all
They
these
really
villains and good guys up here, and then look at the movies that we got. Where are all of these
Yeah.
people?
yeah.
Hey,
Like,
we've-
it's like
hey.
always the same story.
Hey,
over
we've
and
gotten
over
Bane,
again.
we've gotten Bane twice in the movies. Can
Right?
you believe that?
Oh.
Yeah, we have.
And literally like the
Ooh.
most minuscule of all of the bad guys.
Mhm.
He's
Batman
super
was
boring.
Well, he is, and he wasn't in hardly any of them. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like in there a minute in the lore.
There are
Mhm.
so many better villains. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
almost any of them are better.
Mhm.
In Rocker says, loving the show as always. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. World Made of Cardboard says, was in college at the time and had most of the first run of toys for animated series. They looked good and had great play value. Do you have a favorite?
Well, I really do love what they tried to do with the ventriloquist as a
Yeah.
later figure. I think he's got problems, but the ambition is clearly there.
Clayface.
Clayface is cool, even though
Awesome.
he's basically just a big hollow vinyl
Yeah,
thing.
but
But
he looks and,
Yeah.
and he feels really good. Like
yeah,
quality-wise.
I like the
Penguin. I like how intricate
Yes.
Yeah.
Penguin is.
Penguin is a really cool figure with the soft goods cloak and everything.
Mhm.
Not to put, too cliche a point on it, but just getting the crime belt or combat belt Batman was a feat because all the other Batmans in the line were different variants that weren't in the show. This was the only way to get the one that looked like he looked in the
show.
series.
Yeah.
So he's one of my favorites just because he's hard to get. And I love the way that Catwoman came with a cat that sat on her
Her
shoulders.
whip is awesome.
Her whip
too.
is great, which her whip is ported over from the Batman Returns Catwoman.
It's more rubber than
Yeah.
it is vinyl.
Yeah.
It really feels really good.
Sean, thank you so much for this
Wow.
very generous.
Thank you,
super
Sean.
chat. Sean says, through all the Batman animated series, they never touched upon the amount of guano that must have built up in the Batcave.
Well, remember how deep the Batcave was.
What vacuum would you recommend for a cleaning challenge of that magnitude?
Oh, you need
This
something
question,
with water.
wait, this question sponsored by Moon Pies and RC Cola.
How about that?
Well, it'd have to be the dry wet shop vac, right?
Yeah, and I was going to say probably a hose and a squeegee to start with, and then you probably finish. Well, you just brush it off into the pits, right? You know,
Yeah.
where you could fall.
Yeah, that's
You know
Just
what's-
get it off down in there, and then you would do the anyway. Then
I
you
feel
would
like
use
you
the
did
wet vac.
the wet Roomba, the one that does like the cleaning.
How does it not go off
Ugh.
the cliff? Oh, it's because it's got that cliff sensor,
Mm.
and it won't go off the cliff. It'll sense when it's near an edge.
Yeah.
It's so cool. You could even use it in a bat cave. It'll sense when
Okay,
it's near an edge, and it will stop itself and
Did
alert
you get the email from Roomba about the programming?
I did not.
From a Roomba owner, and I love my Roomba.
My Roomba's not as advanced
The
as the one you
the
bought.
ice. I have the i7 with the station. It's wonderful. But they sent an email saying, yeah, the last update is making your Roomba act suspicious. Let us know. And literally, I
You
turned
turned
my
around and Roomba was staring
And
at
it was
you.
like just around the corner.
No, it literally went into my living room right in front of my TV and just started going like for like 15 minutes.
Well, I just want to add that question about the vacuum cleaner in the Batcave should be addressed to Alfred, not us.
Alfred has to farm that out. That is beneath him.
Oh yeah, well, guess what? A guy who's like a world-class athlete makes an elderly man vacuum up the Batcave.
I feel like Alfred's more there to serve him more than like
Money, money,
clean.
money,
I
money.
don't think he's the
Money, money,
janitorial
money,
stuff.
money, money, money. Money, 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 money.
That's what Finn is for.
Well, we never got the feeling that the Alfred in the animated series
he was a janitor.
raised a young Bruce Wayne very well because he was a very smart alecky kind of, not necessarily a father figure like the movie version. So
Super chat. Bjorn says, "What is the worst episode?" I would say I've got Batman in my basement. Was the worst episode
Oh, with the kids.
with the kids?
yeah,
I didn't like that one.
Real annoying. Real annoying.
Yeah, that wasn't one of my favorites. I'm trying to think if there was another one. There was one that I feel like there was one I caught all the time when I would catch
That was
reruns.
the fish that he was giving the smiles to, and the fishermen were. That was a great episode, but they reran that one like at least once a week. I
Oh,
felt
did
like.
they?
Yeah, it was reran all the time.
There's another one I'm thinking of though. I can't. What's the one where the guy is working at the office and the Joker keeps tailing him or something? Because
The Joker's obsessed with him.
right, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. Golly, what is that one? I'm trying to remember that one too.
And then the other one I always caught every time was the late season one where Clayface had the little girl that was a part of him.
Yeah.
And I was sick of that one too. I was like, I don't care about this anymore.
Zontara says, "Read My Lips" is my favorite episode, which had Mr. Scarface and the ventriloquist, both voiced by George.
Dzunza.
Okay.
Dzunza.
Zunza.
Zunza.
I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm afraid to say it.
That's sometimes the only way to say things is wrong.
Yeah, well, Zontara also says, "I also love the Zatanna episode,
Mm.
Yep.
Zatanna, sorry, which had Julie Brown as Zatanna and Michael York as the villain. I was Zatanna for Halloween a few years ago."
Yeah, Michael York.
She was a cool character, anyways.
And she went on to be in Justice League.
Well, and
That's right.
even her portrayal in Smallville, I thought was really good too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'm always I have a soft spot for Michael York, aka Logan's Run.
Well, yes.
Is he known as Logan?
And he's in the Three
AKA
Musketeers with
Logan's
Raquel Welch. She's one of the
That's what
Three
he calls the soft
Musketeers.
spot.
Not the
Oh,
one
yeah.
later in the
I hope I
90s,
haven't
but the
missed
early
any
one.
super chats. That's all I
It
can
jumped
say
on you.
because it's
Just a
jumped several
few
times. If I have
seconds.
missed a super chat, please tell Tim Ward.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I saw
Comments?
one from Salvador.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
dear.
okay, sorry.
Wicked Person says, when Dark Knight was huge, I had a high school English student who wouldn't stop shouting, "Where's Rachel?" in a gravelly high voice or gravelly voice in class. I don't get that, but
That was a line, because what's her face Gyllenhaal played Rachel in Dark Knight, and so he's like, "Where's Rachel?"
Rachel.
But that started that whole YouTube guy. Remember that guy who would always put on the
Dad.
Bat Dad? He'd be like, "Jen, where's the toast?" Like it was like,
Yeah.
okay.
That was
That
funny
guy
the
is
first
actually
time I
pretty
saw
funny.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron was obsessed with that dude for a little while.
I mean, why do you think I have one of
can
these?
see that.
Exactly.
Ollie Jones Animator says, loved the POC live stream the other week. Super informative. Kudos.
Oh, you're welcome, Ollie, and thanks for watching that. I was glad to pull that conversation together.
Yeah, Michael always likes live streams where we're not involved.
That's true. That's a
But
true
I
anyway,
thought he
statement.
was talking about the one where you.
No, I just like live streams where the black magic card works. That's all I care about.
Worldwide
Better.
Cox says Ben Affleck's a kind of great Batman in new cut. Dumb gags are gone, and he's just a decent dude trying to do right, in my humble opinion. Off topic, sorry. Semi on topic. Have you guys seen Bruce Timm's non-Bat art book?
I haven't Worldwide Cox, but it's okay that you brought that up because I would recommend that you watch Mahler's new 2-hour review of the Snyder Cut because it's a fascinating look at the fact that a lot of the things that are attributed to Whedon, he forensically goes back into the earliest promo footage and trailers and proves they are actually Snyder things
Yeah.
that then Snyder quietly cut out of his final vision so as to continue to let that mythology play out that, oh, that was all Joss and not me.
Don't you want to be a part of Gary's vision?
So I would just say that as an aficionado of that, it might interest you to watch. It's not a political.
It's very good.
It's very good. It's not a political piece. It's literally just we're going to forensically take apart this movie.
It was just nice to hear somebody not raving about it
Right.
myself. But anyways, Salvador says Kevin Conroy is my default Batman. I
Yep.
had that Batmobile as a kid. One summer I was playing in a kiddie pool in the backyard, the kind you find at Big Lots. I dropped it. The tail fins poked holes in the bottom. I got grounded. That sounds like
That's a good story.
that sounds like a real bad day for you back then, but it's pretty funny now.
Sounds like when I set the yard on fire.
It does sound like that, but slightly less
Those
destructive.
two things should have been adjacent.
That would have worked out.
Yeah.
That would have helped both of you immensely.
Yes.
Like, what good planning on your part?
Ugh, I was so
Batman
close.
saved the day.
Batman animated series is the greatest piece of media ever made.
Vigilante, I would definitely say it's in the top 5 as far as animated TV shows for sure. It's definitely the number 1 in animated series. And yeah, it rates, really does.
Your Muslim uncle says BM show existed in
High school.
high school. Loved it so much. I would be late for football practice. Got crack blocked. Channeled Batman next time and blew the guy away.
Nice.
If you channeled Superman, he'd have been Gel.
And you'd be in trouble.
Rush Patel says, I would have liked to have Patrick Stewart portray Mr. Freeze based on animated series portrayal.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah, but he
Good
was
thought.
he was-
Anybody besides Schwarzenegger
Other-
would have been good.
Other people need to work too.
I don't know.
Actually, he would have been good, I think.
You mean as a live action?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they always cast him as every bald guy.
Not really. Where
Yeah,
else? Okay, so he was Gurney Halleck in there.
Professor X.
Professor X.
Adrian
Picard.
Barrera says, I
Picard.
loved the Grey Ghost episode. I also love the Grey Ghost episode. I think it's really
That's another one though that was always being shown in reruns.
Yes.
And so while I like it,
They ruined it.
yeah, it's like Carly Rae Jepsen's "Call Me Maybe." It was a fine song that got overplayed, and it's like on the 50th time, I just
In the same day.
It's like because when I'm watching the Blu-rays or before that the DVDs, when I get to the Grey Ghost episode, I'm like, well, I know that one backwards and forwards. Skip, moving on to the next one.
He had to watch it when he watched it with me.
I don't hate it.
World Made of Cardboard says, Tim, I have a Samsung robot vacuum cleaner. Really quiet and good at picking stuff up.
I wondered. That one's really expensive. I did the research on that one and was wondering. It seems really tall to me, but I bet the suction's really good.
Like right now, it just picked up a knife. Robot uprising.
I like to hear that it's really quiet, because that's my biggest gripe with the Roomba robots is that they are very, very loud.
Yeah, they are loud.
And it seems like some of the other brands can get the same cleaning potential sometimes, but with half the sound.
You could put that on this plate if you'd like.
I don't like.
Don't spoil the cookie.
Okay. Bye.
He's just going to leave. Now, the Samsung vacuum, this robot Samsung vacuum I looked at, and I'm still looking at it because I love Samsung products. But
Worldwide Cock says, if you like Tim's designs, Naughty and Nice is a stellar art book. Lots of cheesecake, but good survey of his work. Tim as in Timm, not you.
Yeah, I don't have any art books. But, yeah.
Wicked Person says, picturing if they'd cast Jeff Goldblum as Mr. Freeze instead of Arnold.
I don't know how that would work at all.
I don't know how that would work either.
I literally feel like anybody would have been better than Arnold.
No, Goldblum would have made a really good, Mad Hatter.
I don't know. I wonder if...
I think he would have been a good Mad Hatter.
You definitely have to have Goldblum play a character where he can show his face.
Yeah.
You don't want him covered up.
He could be Raj.
Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah.
Stuttering, explaining everything, Raj.
Life finds a way.
So...
That's a Lazarus pit.
So how it works is follow me here.
Good rebellion. It's a tie.
Now I'm sitting here in a Lazarus pit talking to myself. That's chaos.
But I'm so good looking.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's one of those situations where I go, if you're going to have Schwarzenegger in a Batman movie, why are you not having him play Bane? You guys love Bane so much.
Or Clayface.
Or Clayface.
Or Killer Croc.
Yeah.
I mean, literally any of these big dudes on the back row. He could have done a great job.
Which one would Stallone do really well? Oh.
Maybe Two-Face? Because he's got the lip droop.
Oh, no, he could do Two-Face because he's got the accent.
And he's kind of also...
he could play... He's Italian, so he could play a kind of mafia guy that,
I feel like he would do a really good job with that.
Yeah. He wouldn't even need makeup.
Good pick.
He wouldn't. I mean, it would be great.
You literally just put painter's tape.
He could play up the accent thing.
Yeah.
What would he say to Batman?
You just put painter's tape down the center of his face and spray one side green. And then he's just like...
See, now I'm mad that we never saw Stallone as... And I've always been kind of mad that we never saw Schwarzenegger as Bane, because I really think he would have done well with that. I really do.
Flip this coin, and then we'll find out if you're going to get thrown off this building.
If you're going to live or you're going to die,
You think you're your worst nightmare, Batman. Watch this.
Willis Wheeler says, my favorite episode is the one where Batman killed Batgirl.
I'm trying to remember that episode.
Maybe he's messing with us. I don't recall one where
Ben Dowdy says Stallone as Clayface. I don't know about that, but I'll say we watched a really good Stallone movie the other night.
Victory. Yeah, the World War II escape movie where Michael Caine and Stallone play soccer against the Germans.
Well, how about that?
It sounds cheesy, but it's actually quite good. In my opinion.
What are you looking up
there? I've had
too
much water, so I'll be back again.
Beta Ray Bob says Arnold is Bane. Oh nope. Says take this venom and stick it up your nose. Somebody else said, I don't know where it went. I was trying to click it. It says, Skookum's Trooper says Schwarzenegger as Bane would make sense, but he would never wear a mask. But see, that's why I think it would be so great.
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah. He had on all those dumb prosthetics and stuff for the movie where he was Mr. Freeze.
And he had on all the dumb stuff in the Terminator to be the Terminator.
I mean, I guess it didn't cover up his face, but I mean...
Yeah, that whoever called that one out of where he killed Batgirl. Tell me the name of that one because I.
Oh, it's easier if you put those between the two cases and then put both cases
Prozac
back
Man
in.
says it was Scarecrow that killed Batgirl in Over the Edge.
Oh yeah. That's true. That's true. I forgot about that. See, I've got to rewatch the series.
And then the Kal-El says it ended up being a dream sequence. It was in the
Yeah, I
first
didn't
season.
think it was
Yeah.
something that stuck because obviously she's in Batman Beyond. So
Scott Hughes, I don't have it to pull up on screen, but he says, my wife asked me why I carry a gun in the house. I laughed. She laughed. The Roomba laughed. I shot the Roomba. It was a good day.
I'm still trying to
Good
get my
stuff.
cat to ride the Roomba. He's just not into it. So.
Our cat Jasper is absolutely petrified of vacuum cleaners, like more so than like a normal cat. And so, you know,
Did
every
you
time
watch those Frisky commercials where the cat deer kitten,
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
where
on
he calls,
YouTube.
he goes, "You must be prepared to deal with vacuum."
Yeah, but Jasper has like a pathological fear
Yeah,
of them, like to
yeah.
the point where the first time that we ever used a vacuum, we couldn't find him for like an hour. Like we literally tore the house apart, couldn't
And he
find
was
him.
just like, "Nope."
He
nope,
was
nope."
behind the dryer.
Oh my god!
He climbed over. He jumped up there maniacally and like got back there. And I don't even know how I ended up getting him out of there. So yeah, it's kind of insane.
My Geek is very curious about the Roomba. Like he will follow it around the house watching it, but he won't ride it.
My
I want a cat
Roomba
that rides
is
it.
like dead, but we need to get a new vacuum. I mean, a new battery and put it in there and
Yes.
see.
I
if
told
it'll,
you
like,
that I would
fix it.
rebuild your
Yeah,
Roomba. I
it's
do
going to
need
be
do that.
robotics day at RetroBlasting, and we're going to take apart my Roomba and like. it's
They
gonna
got
be great.
mod kits for them and everything. People do some really crazy stuff.
Vigilante Williamson says, "Now I need Arnold reading TDKR Bane lines."
The Dark Knight Rises Bane lines.
Michael,
I don't know any of those lines. I
make
have.
something up.
I am the darkness.
I'm the darkness. I'm there. There's the Catwoman.
Was it?
Yes.
Actually, very good. I liked the Deckard Cain approach to that. If you played Diablo 2 or 3, you got Deckard Cain, and it sounded very much like him.
Like
where it's like,
Bane.
stay a while and listen.
You guys know that I love him.
Love who?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
I like
Yes.
Tom Hardy too. I think he's great. I think he did great in Road Warrior.
What cracks me up is that that's not an effect. That's his voice. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Sound-
the
sound
muffled
terrifying.
part is the effect, but like that's literally how he talks. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. To like see him in another movie after the first time you've ever seen him in something as Bane, and you're like, what the hell accent is that?
Did
And
you
then
ever
you
see
see him
Grown
in-
Ups 2?
No, you see him in Wuthering Heights though, and you're like,
It's
oh
Bane.
my god.
There's a scene in Grown Ups 2, which I know it's an Adam Sandler movie, where all the wives are at the water park, and there's this big muscly dude over there flexing his muscles like The Rock, and they're like, "Oh, he's coming over here. He looks wonderful." And the guy walks up, and he goes, "What's up, ladies?" And they all go, "Ah!" They just start dying laughing at him, and he's like, "Oh, teasers." It was great. I have to show you the scene. You would die laughing.
Well, Tom Hardy sounded the same in oh crap, what was it?
Probably something I didn't see.
Bronson.
The movie we watched where he plays his own brother, and they're the gangsters in London.
Oh right. Yeah. I don't remember the name of it either, but I do remember the movie. He plays his own twin brother.
It's a true story.
There's a great scene in that movie where one of those guys, the really insane one,
one of the twins is insane.
it's so
He's-
violent. Like,
well,
I
that
don't even-
definitely sounds like something he would play.
he literally picks up, was it a hammer?
Okay, so he's got these guns, and
Oh my
and
God.
these guys they go into a pub, and there's all these rival
Krays.
gang, the Krays, and all these rival gang guys are in there, and they're supposed to have this chat, right? They're trying to intimidate these two.
Yeah.
They're trying to intimidate these two brothers, right? So the crazy one's got these guns, and they're like, "Hey, we're not doing anything with guns here, or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, all right." And so he walks out of the pub
door.
while the other guy, the more well-balanced brother, is talking to them, completely outnumbered, by the way. And then he just walks back in behind them without them noticing with like two hammers, and just starts
He
beating them up.
starts- It is the most brutal thing you've ever seen. And like, I mean, it's worse than watching like shoot 'em up. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, just literally beamed that guy with a hammer.
It's like one of those concrete hammers with the, you know,
my
the.
God.
the
But
big
he-
one.
you
Like
know,
a
he's-
mallet, more
you
of a
know,
mallet.
yeah.
just
The craze traumatized England to the point that like you can't get away from them. I was watching White Cross on Netflix, and there's like a whole season about the craze.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty good stuff.
Space Monkey Mafia says my piece of dream casting would be Nicolas Cage as the Riddler.
What is he trying to
Oh
figure?
gosh.
What is he trying to figure out? His own career? Like what? What would that?
What happened to all of his money?
Yeah.
Castle. He bought a cat. It's all easy to figure
I
out.
disagree.
His
I
career.
think, I
Bought
think
an island.
Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage has it all pretty
He
well
had a
figured out.
castle,
He was
too.
in that one movie where he literally didn't speak at all. And
Yeah.
he got paid. Like he just.
You're talking about Nicolas Cage, or
Yes, I'm talking about Nicolas Cage. He shows up.
Because your fella, your Bane guy, he did the same thing basically
In Road Warrior.
Road Warrior.
Maybe I never saw that movie.
Even though
He said a few
he's
things.
brilliant in it and he
He
doesn't
is.
talk hardly at all.
Nicolas Cage doesn't say one word in this movie.
What was the movie?
It was
even
the
know what
movie
movie
that
it
was
is.
about like the Chuck E. Cheese type restaurant where he stays
Oh, that's
overnight.
a really new movie.
It's a new
like, That
movie.
is like real recent.
He rolls up. He's supposed to
He's
stay the night there and
psychotic.
then clean the place, and he just ends up killing all the characters. Spoiler alert! And he doesn't speak at all. It's like
yeah, it's-
Nicolas Cage is like, how
I think
can
that's
I do
supposed to be
the?
a play on
How
Five
can
Nights
I
at Freddy's
do?
or
It
something.
is. It's a ripoff of Five
Yeah.
Nights at Freddy's. Not even as good, apparently.
Oh,
Shane and
Heart
Heather
rating stuff.
Burkett,
Mhm.
$10 bucks.
Let's get a box.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you very much. I chatted with these guys or this person on Discord,
Mhm.
which I enjoy talking during the week.
Man, I went down a rabbit hole yesterday on Dune, Wheel of
Yeah.
Time, the
I'm gonna change the
Enderverse.
cam.
Yeah, it was. I was like supposed to be doing other things, and I was just like, yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna answer that one. What's my favorite
that's,
Dune book?
That's why I
Oh,
tagged
yeah.
you. I was like, this is all Aaron questions about Dune, so it's like perfect. Jason Williams says, sorry if you covered it, but have you watched the Harley Quinn cartoon on HBO Max? It's a lot better than it should be.
I haven't yet. I
I
just
have not.
recently
It's
started
really good.
diving into the Batman universe stuff on HBO, whatever.
HBO.
Yeah, I can't.
I
keep
wish they would
track
have
of
called
them.
it that.
It's like-
Max.
Next week it'll be HBO Chicken. I'll work on that one. They need to.
Okay, so I have another one here somewhere. MMA Panda says Jeff Daniels as Mad Hatter, Patton Oswalt as Penguin. Ooh, that's a good one. Angelina Jolie as Poison Ivy.
I feel like there was a season of Angelina Jolie, and we are well out of it. But back then, Angelina Jolie probably would have been a good pick for that. Although
Maybe.
Uma Thurman, she's kind of, I don't know why, I just like Uma Thurman.
I think of Poison Ivy being a lot more curvy than Uma Thurman. No offense to Uma Thurman, because I really love her.
He's super judgy.
I'm not being judgy. I'm
Oof.
saying Poison Ivy's whole thing is her being very like Marilyn
She is a very
Monroe-ish,
liquid.
like super curvy. I could be wrong, but you know,
It is unlikely that you are in this case.
what do I know?
Well, quite a bit.
Let's see. Okay, so Shane and Heather Burkett's $10 super chat comment wasn't attached. So they ask, or they say the only way Arnold would make would work as Bane is if he were running for a helicopter to escape Batman. Get to the chopper. Sorry, I can't do the accent like Michael.
The chopper.
Uh,
I did start watching the new Terminator movie. Speaking of old Arnold Schwarzenegger, the other day, I didn't make it all the way through. I got kind of through the car chase where Linda Hamilton shows back up, and she's kind of craggy and tough, and she kind of saves the day. And then the two other characters in the movie just sort of steal her car and drive off in it. And she's like, "Oh, son of a!" To chase
do they
him down
beep
the
over
street.
her in the movie? That was
No,
weird.
they do not. Linda
Okay.
Hamilton just is allowed to be herself and swear all she wants to in that.
Scott Hughes, Christina Hendricks as Poison Ivy. That's what I'm talking
Good
about.
call, though. Good
That's
call.
what I'm talking about. She would be an outstanding Poison Ivy, in my opinion. That's kind of how I see that. Stiff Kitten says Melinda as Poison Ivy. I mean,
I think you could pull it off.
maybe in my younger days. I do kind of regret never having done either Catwoman or Poison Ivy, although many years ago, back like 11 years ago, I was really trying hard to get a Balent Catwoman costume made, and it didn't work out. It was one of me and Michael's first costuming travesties. That
Of
I would
which
love
there
to
have been
hear
many.
about. Yeah, I was about to say I'd love to hear about all the costuming travesties, where they went wrong. I mean, I'm sure there were some things you learned along the way to try to help, like, front load the conversation with whoever the seamstress, seams person,
Taylor?
Taylor. Thank you. That saved me from that. one.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Oh, I love that movie. It's got Tom Hardy in it, ironically.
What in the world?
That's a fascinating looking box, Michael.
This is from our friend Evander.
It looks like it came straight from the 60s.
Well, I guess that depends on
Looks
what
like a wedding
It's
gift.
very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Is it to you or me?
it's to you.
Oh, it's for me. Thank you for opening it for me. No, seriously, I don't like to
No,
open
I know.
presents.
Michael has a gift at opening packages.
F. 1866.
Game Boy says Christina Hendricks was great in
Oh my
Firefly.
gosh.
Wish she would have been in
What is
Serenity.
that?
Yeah, that would have been.
That was a
We
crazy
have
episode.
French chocolates.
Ooh, French
Mm.
chocolate.
Oh, that means it's very good.
Mm.
We have French Kit Kats.
Oh, well, there you go.
Français.
Ooh la la.
We
I'm
have
gonna do this.
Save at least one of
Dreamland
those.
Cam.
we have 3 Marvel themed Kinder eggs.
Now, is that a real Kinder egg where it's actually in the egg?
I think
you
so.
can't really get
So
those
there's a
here
Kinder
in
in
the
the egg?
States. That's messed up.
Yeah,
Okay.
there it is. Hey, it says it has
Oh, that
Spider-Man on
is
the back.
just
We
unfortunate.
have Looty Scooby Doo, which
Okay.
are
Oh, yeah.
I am
No.
opening this today. Hang on, I want to hold it up to the
Fine.
camera.
That does not look appealing.
Look at that, you guys.
That
It's
does look awesome.
like jelly bracelets that you can eat.
Yeah,
Looks like sweet spaghetti.
Orange what?
That's
it's
sweet,
Orangina,
sweet,
the drink.
sweet.
It's shaped like the
Oh,
bottles.
gotcha.
They
Put
also
some
have.
chocolate
He
syrup
sent you.
on it. Mm.
He sent you gummy Orangina bottles.
Man, it's just like
Oh, we're gonna tear into these first.
Here's another
Which one of
Melinda
these-
package. Melinda
which
got
one of
several
these do you
packages.
want?
Okay.
I want to eat all of it, but
This is
not
also
right
from
now.
Evander. I can tell by the
The writing.
writing.
Aaron
Mm.
is not gonna join me on the eating of this right now, but can you open this for me?
Oh yeah.
It looks like some funky noodles.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Sweet spaghetti
How
is what we were
funky is
calling
your
it.
Lord.
noodle? Funky is your noodle. How loose is your goose? How loose is your goose?
Melinda used to be a cheerleader.
Knock yourself
Come
out.
on, all you skitties.
Boy, that is some.
Woo, it's pungent.
What does it smell like?
That's watermelon flavor. That's good stuff.
She's done talking for the day. I think she's just gonna eat this.
I'm just sitting here watching her, and I'm like, I expect more, but she's like, nope.
Oh my god, this is
What's
amazing!
happening? What is happening?
I'm having so much fun. Who sent me this?
Evander.
Evander.
What? What are you looking at?
Michael, we could do the Lady in the
What in the
Tramp
world?
thing.
Aw.
All right. It says, Dear Melinda, I thought to send you, this is from Evander. I thought to send you some odds and ends that only you can appreciate. In France, Nancy Drew is called Alice Roy, as Nancy is a city close to the border with Germany. You might not remember the Nancy Drew Take on the Klan, as this Nancy Drew book is actually The Secret of Redgate Farm.
Oh my god.
But the
Wow.
French edition would make you think differently.
Yeah.
So far, I have 3 different covers. This is the original cover, and I printed out a 1980s cover and a third cover, which is my guess is from the late 80s.
I wouldn't keep that out where everybody can see it.
Oh, you got to hand it covertly to me, who is not wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Look at the cover.
Oh, that's exciting.
Well, he gave us the 2.
It says Alice is the fake mayonnaise.
I don't.
Here is another cover
Oh
for
my
it.
god.
I don't think she's allied with this group of terrible people.
No, but
And then he sent us the French sort of like children's novelization of Black Hole,
pronounced on the front. What is that pronounced?
Le Trou Noir.
Here, I'm
want
gonna
to see
I'm gonna pull up this camera.
Here, can you keep it turned oriented that way?
Oh,
Not the other
cool.
way.
Oh, that's cool.
This way.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
That's
Oh,
what I'm
because
doing.
I thought you were turning
This
it.
camera.
Yeah.
I
And,
wanted to hold
um,
that up so that they
Oh,
could see it.
absolutely.
And then look at this. It's a She-Ra Princess of Power novel or a children's book,
Mhm.
but he gives it in both French and in the English originals.
All Francais.
Mm-hmm.
Evander, thank you so much. These are so cool
That's
and
Nito Mosquito.
it's esoteric and in
It's
some
got a
cases,
pony on the back.
wow, disturbing,
It is disturbing, but I will look at it because it's interesting.
but fascinating nonetheless.
The black hole.
I'll have to have Michael read it to me because I don't speak Francais.
First, you'll have to make him panic. And
I
then
only
he'll be able to
yeah.
tell you exactly what it says.
That's a good point.
Okay, and then this is also from Evander, I can tell.
Evander,
Wow, look at all the postage.
Mhm.
these gummy noodles are the best thing ever.
Save at least one gummy noodle.
No,
Okay, fine.
no, I will. The World Made of Cardboard says, apologies if there is a personal reason unknown to me, but my wife noticed Tim is not in the intro.
Oh, there's no personal reason. It's
Working
just
on
that,
it.
We don't like him.
however, we are about to capture footage today that I will be able to use to put Tim in the intro.
Mhm.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Okay.
It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna listen to that.
Tim and I have unionized, and we're getting this fixed very quickly to make sure he is also featured in the intro song.
Holy crap. So he's also sent us a whole selection of the Tintin.
Whoa, that's a
Well,
great
Oh, now
looking
that's
book.
very cool. That actually is
Here, I'm
very
going to
cool
put it over
because
here
I do
because
like
it's a little
Tintin.
closer up.
Uh-huh.
Tintin was very fascinating to me.
That's a
Yeah.
good looking book.
Very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Tintin
Nice.
au Congo. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to put that there.
Oh, now I want to know. Inquiring minds.
Okay, well, just take a close look at the image on that.
I already can see it.
Yikes.
Wow.
But yeah, Tintin is a classic. I can't wait to read these. Thank you, as best I will be able to. But yeah, I will.
It'll be like picture pages, picture pages.
Such
It's
iconic
beautiful stuff,
art.
Evander. Thank you. This is
Iconic
like a
art.
history of.
Tintin.
Wow.
Mm.
All right, we'll set those on the floor. All right, and then I'm gonna open this one as well because I can tell this is from
Like
Evander.
Cat's Cradle.
Wow, Evander.
I know.
Giving us a master class in packaging as well. Different, looks like different wrapping paper. for
What?
each.
Nice.
It is the. I believe this is the Advent calendar from Playmobil for Back to the Future.
Oh, very
Oh,
cool.
wow.
You're gonna have to wait a while before you can use it.
Too bad it doesn't have chocolate in it.
No, just the future. Just little bits
That's
of the
great.
future.
When you open them, they become the present.
Well, it's on new level.
I know.
So great. Look
Wow,
at Doc
man.
Brown
That's pretty
on the
great.
side.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. I can't wait to pop this open.
That
and
is neat.
see what it's all
That
about.
is an interesting
That's
looking
what
Doc
it's
Brown.
all about. Boop. Black App I don't know if I'm saying that right. He asked if his box is here. It says that it was delivered. Is this his? This big white one?
It's very hard
Who?
for me to tell
Who?
this angle.
Who is?
Black App.
Yes, this one.
All right, this was on the table first. So we're gonna open this up.
Take these away from me.
For you will eat them all.
They smell great.
They're so good. Oh my god.
This is from our friend Brian Dillingham. Tim, I see a USB cable in
Yeah,
here.
that's what I was walking over. More than one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, a Universal Serial Bus? Serious Bus. That's a very serious.
Dear Mi-
bus. Universal Serious Bus.
Dear Michael, Melinda, Aaron, and Tim, I hope this letter finds you all well and healthy. Many an hour I've spent watching your videos and live streams, and it is time well spent. Thank you all for preserving and celebrating the past with respect, a good deal of fun, and a critical eye. In addition, your focus on the present and holding toy makers accountable for shoddy workmanship. Your dedication to quality and principles is such that it reminds me of a consumer advocate, David Horowitz, in his show Fight Back, where he would take scammers and poor products to task. To me, you are the gold standard of toy collecting channels. Thank you, Brian. There are two parts in this box. On the bottom, there is a comic book that I hope will help you with another quality retrospective. This is for a franchise I'd forgotten about. The second, much larger one is the item I messaged you about. I leave it to your discretion as to whether or not it is appropriate to open during the live stream, but it is meant as a companion piece to something in your collection. I wish I could tell you how much the live stream has meant to me during this crazy year. Having all four of you donate your time and efforts to providing an escape into the past while facing an uncertain present has been important in keeping up my morale. I will simply be satisfied in saying thank you. My best and good wishes to you all. If you ever find yourself in LA or need any help from out this way, let me know. All the best, Brian Dillingham. And he says, P.S. He says, P.S. I work in IT and always have an extra cable. Brian, thank you.
We've learned that lesson.
All right.
Probably the hard way.
So he does send along extra cables.
If we ever don't have an extra cable, it's because we've needed it and used it.
He sent a spare
HDMI.
USB
Ooh, wait,
3.0.
That one's very hard to find cable.
Wait,
Yeah.
what is the? Oh, it's.
very specific.
Welcome to Cable Talk. Oh my goodness! Do you
I
see
thought
what
these
you
came
have
with
in
all
your
my
hand
hard
there?
drives.
No, that's
Why would that come
actually
with
there's
your
a
hard
phone.
This is rare.
That's a Samsung.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
My Samsung took that cable, but it was the Note from.
Yeah.
But it
the
looks
Note
like a
6.
USB 3.
Well, it has two
No,
ports.
this
No,
side.
It's totally.
See how it's got a notch in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then there
And
is
not the one who made Minecraft.
Welcome to Cable Talk.
Yeah.
an HDMI.
What kind of a sound is it making?
What's he building
Click
in
and clack.
there? All right, so this is the comic book that he mentioned.
No, that's a piece of cardboard.
Was there something right here? Is that what
Yes, but I'm opening.
But he's contemplating whether or not to open that on stream,
Okay. So-
as per instructed in the document laid out before you.
There you go, Tim.
Ah! Okay.
Star ears.
One of my favorite lines from the 80s. I love that toy line. It was awesome. And I do agree that because they came with the mini comics. This is actually the first time I've
Very
seen the
cool.
full size comic of it. But
Love that style.
I want to.
Very
Is that one open or is it sealed?
Why does
Can I
it
get
have
in there?
Spider-Man's head in the corner?
Because
It's a
it's a
Marvel.
Marvel comic.
So Spider-Man owns all Marvel comics.
Why doesn't everything have a Spider-Man hat?
Oh, I love Star Ears.
That's
Spider-Man.
a really good.
Really
question.
good.
Spider-Man.
It's not like it's his last name.
This is the number
Its
one.
name is
too.
Steve
This is the
Spider-Man.
first
Mhm.
issue.
Steve Spider-Man.
He's a
Very
CPA,
cool, man.
and he will help you out if you're in a pinch. It's me, Steve Spider-Man.
Now, from my recollection, yeah. So these are
Oh yeah.
these are meant to be. He wanted these to go with my combat figures. So
Mhm.
he sent some German army guys to be the nemesis for my combat crew that I built
In
from
your diorama
Marauders.
over there.
Yeah. So fortunately, they don't have anything. There's nothing.
There's no
Nothing
naughty
problematic.
symbols.
There's
on
nothing
here that we
problematic
ever
on
Just
got.
those.
the Iron Cross.
Well, that's from World
I'm
War.
not calling it a problematic issue.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's just what's on.
Yeah.
It's not hard to-
Thank you so much, Brian. I'll take some photographs of the combat guys going up against these dudes and put it on the Instagram.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to see those a whole lot better in a photo.
Yeah.
He didn't watch the podcast.
Hmm?
Nothing. I smell fruit.
Me.
Have we? Oh, because that you are fruity.
Now I'm emanating.
All right.
Yeah,
This
that
is
is-
from our friend
I don't-
Black Cap, who
I'll try these
I
other
just
ones.
recently talked to on a retro talk on Patreon.
Now, what is the origin of that name? Do we know?
He wears a black cap.
It covers his lid. It covers his head.
Oh, because like every time I see it, it says "I Black Cap I," and so I just think "I palindrome I." Please don't read that.
Whoa, there's a lot here.
I mean, do read it.
I mean, read it, but don't read it aloud. Maybe like
Uh-huh.
Just sit quietly and read
just
it.
sort of.
P.S. Aaron, finish this sentence. Here's to the nights we felt alive. Here's to the tears you knew you'd cry.
I have no idea. I'm going to die
Oh,
here.
Is that really the follow-up to that sentence?
No, it's not. I feel put on the spot.
Well, no, it's a
I
song
should-
lyric. Here's to the nights we felt alive.
Oh
Here's to
no!
the tears you knew
I
you'd
haven't
cry.
thought that song in my head in forever.
Pedro,
You got me,
Pedro
man.
Presents, thank you for getting
You got
my
me with some '90s love. There.
my Friends reference. That was a deep cut from Friends, where Phoebe kept thinking that Spider-Man was Spider-Man, and Chandler's like, "It's not his last
Oh,
name."
Lord.
Yeah, Steve
you've
Spider-Man.
been
CGI.
resupplied, dear.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
gosh,
from Friends.
re-upped.
You've been resupplied.
Yes.
I brought her a pack down today. She's just not opened it.
Well, I mean,
Well,
look
you
what
got
I've
the
got.
other. I know. That's what I'm
These look like little drumsticks.
They do. Eat them like one,
saying.
and then throw away the little gooey bone. Eh.
I want to try a red one.
Man, people throw in obscure, not less than obscure '90s songs at me now.
Oh, wow. This is the Marvel Legends Archangel.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Look at that.
That is cool.
That is cool.
Look at that.
That's it, folks.
Dude, thank you so much. This is for Tim. This says for Tim. You want to open that? Go ahead.
Excited. Oh my God.
What is it?
Django.
Whoa.
Very
Wow.
cool. Thank you.
So you can put him with
Hold it
Rex.
over
Yes,
this
I
way.
can put him right next to
Hold
Rex.
it up, but over this way.
I was going to let you put it on that
Oh.
camera if you wanted.
Yeah.
to.
I like
Very cool. Thank you so much. That is an awesome character.
He's a bounty hunter.
Oh, I
The
love
Black
Django.
series. Nice.
I like Django. Django was the original. Before his
You know what that
unfortunate
means now?
encounter
That
with
means
Wendy.
now we are going to have to go to Big Bad Toy Store and get Obi-Wan from...
I'm not upset at all.
They're using a bounty hunter named Django Fett to create a clone
Took a
army.
minute.
Wow, he looks really good. Too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, look, he's got his pistols.
This guy's pistols.
Very cool.
Okay, and right here we have...
These are good. Not as good as the spaghetti.
No, I can't wait.
I mean,
We might have them both together with a little milk in a bowl
Right.
and a spoon.
I'm gonna have to pose and hold his pistols
you
Oh,
really
yeah.
have to have at least one of the cookies, even if I just.
because
sent
I've got
one
Rex
with
in
you.
the class.
I will have a cookie.
You're gonna have a sugar coma.
Sounds great.
Oh, wow. This is going to be really hard to see. This is a Robotech, almost like
It's like a challenge coin.
it's a mini figure of Hikaru.
Yeah.
Oh, now that's cool.
He has
There's no way
strange
it's gonna show up.
dimensions.
Wow, that is.
Oh,
If
Black-
only I could control the camera.
Black Cap
itself.
is a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, and he's sent along 2 Dragon Ball Z figures from the original run. Holy cow, look at this. He said he wanted me to see these because they were so ridiculous. It's
They are
it's supposed to be
pretty
it's supposed to be Goku becoming more powerful. So they
Yeah.
just gave
they
him
gave
like
him a perm?
they gave him a big rubber body condom that's shaped like the next phase, and you just
You just slip
stuff
it
him
over.
in that.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's really
So it's like Auto Man.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember an Auto Man where he like literally just goes inside the
Yeah,
other
just
guy?
like.
It's real like awkward.
It's been a while since I thought about Auto Man.
That's interesting.
and then there's this one which
The same
Look at
one,
the
but-
hair on this
it's
guy,
the
you
same
guys.
idea.
Oh, it's-
that one
except
looks a little
actually
better.
this one
Rather
this one's a little
insane.
better.
It's tame
Yeah, that one's
compared
not
to the
as
show.
bad.
This one's a little
Trey.
better.
Okay.
See, I never got into Dragon Ball Z, and my kids never got into it
Oh,
either.
sorry,
so
too high.
hmm
I don't. I mean, I just don't know much about it.
I like to call it Dragon Balls.
Dragon Balls.
That's how it's spelled.
Well, Black Cap, thank you so much. I will put these in a safe place until I'm ready to do the Dragon Ball Z video one day.
This is a big one.
Palindrome eye.
Okay, so
I have a key. That's a knife.
this is from Owen.
Uncle Owen?
Uncle Owen? Aunt Peru? Uncle Owen?
It's really sad, Michael.
Why does it smell like barbecue?
You're making me cry a little bit over here.
Why you gotta do that to me, my friend? Why you gotta do that? Hey, Michael and Melinda, Tim and Aaron.
Hello.
I'm an old lady viewer of your channel. I watch your Star Wars related videos and have seen many of the live streams. Like many people, I've been cleaning out closets. I'm trying to restrict my Star Wars collecting to my hero of 44 years R2D2. These are some Star
Good
Wars.
choice.
These are some Star Wars and Indiana Jones items I thought you might be able to use or trade or at least get a laugh out of for the live stream from opening the box. I was also going to say Melinda could have an action figure for her bedpost, but not after she said she hated R2.
I don't hate him. I just don't.
There's a
It's too
book and a
late.
comic book in the Amazon padded mailer. Don't read parts of the book that are about Kathleen head liar and droid abuser Kathleen Kennedy. It will be bad for your blood pressure. Karen, thank you so much. I can't wait to see what's in
Wow,
this
Karen,
box.
Yeah, I am super.
This is
curious
awesome.
Now,
We're
Good choice on your
intrigued.
hero,
We're
by the way.
intrigued.
What?
oh my gosh,
Uh-huh.
that is some of my favorite things.
Uh-huh. So first we have
What?
He's pacing it out.
No, the what we can see
A
right
world
That's
made
what
of
I'm saying.
cardboard real
That's not
quick
what it
says
was.
sugar coma. My youngest daughter would pour Oreo cookies into a bowl and pour milk over them and eat it like cereal.
I gotta try that.
It's a great
What?
idea.
Yes.
vintage Young Indiana Jones Dixie cups
I didn't even know that existed.
unopened.
Wait, what are the instructions on the side? It's like something with an iron.
Unopened Young Indiana Jones Dixie cups.
That's
That
pretty
is
cool, actually.
really
That is awesome.
Also,
That is
you-
pretty
this
damn
kid.
cool.
It's the Chronicles kid.
if this is how stuff comes out of your closet, you need to like. This is like archival.
Well, wait till you see this.
But wait, there's
I
more.
can't. Only you can. You are gifted. You are special.
Only you can prevent
that
forest
makes me
fires.
excited.
Look at this.
Oh, it's little. It's tiny.
It's the commemorative Empire Strikes Back Micro
Micro
Machine
Machines.
set.
Oh,
That is awesome.
I need something to say really fast into a microphone in honor of Micro.
And then what is
Micro
this?
Machines did. She's
I know.
Look at her
What?
wrapping everything in shout paper.
I know.
Man, Karen,
What's in the
taking
bottom
it
of the
up
box,
a
dude?
notch every time.
Every single time.
Collector Series 1995 Han Solo doll on the mint condition box.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Look at that.
You cleaned out your. I need to come to your house.
Look at
I mean, if this is
Oh,
what's in your closets, I mean, my gosh.
That's a good sculpt on old Han too.
Okay.
Look
got
at
a
that
lot of
schnoz.
reflection, but-
Look at that.
Oh
schnoz.
man, Tim, you're not going to believe this.
Look at this nose.
You're not going to believe this.
That's pretty good.
That's a pretty epic nose.
All right, here we go.
He could really smell the fruit,
We probably can't even through the packaging.
right?
It's wrapped in plastic.
Come on, I don't want to damage anything.
Don't damage it, Michael. Be super careful. Here, you want?
I am. I got it.
Here, use this knife. No, okay.
These are mint.
Oh my gosh.
These are mint.
Wow, dude.
That's ridiculous.
It's a mint Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Here, let's look at. Let's use Dreamland Cam. I'll be very careful. So tell us what this is.
That's the Marvel comic adaptation in one volume. And that is, I think that's the official, it's the official collector's album magazine for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ooh.
She says this is her closet.
Mm-hmm.
I
No,
mean,
this is stuff
I can
that was
only
in it.
imagine what she's got in her house other than this.
That's gorgeous. Thank you, Karen. I've never been able to read the collector's album movie special. I cannot
Wow.
wait to read that. That is so cool.
There's a little space in
And
front
this
of the
is-
bottle.
And then finally,
Oh, there's-
This is amazing.
But wait, there's more.
oh,
oh no,
not the Micro Machines.
the Micro Machines unopened Millennium Falcon set from,
So
I
cool.
believe, 1995.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
You know, you're going to kick me, Tim. Do you know that I used to own a lot of these mint in the box?
What do you mean used to?
I sold them.
That's the reason you're going to kick him.
He literally can't keep everything.
I
he's
sold
ever
them.
had.
He does.
I mean,
I sold them to make the down payment on the DeLorean. Are you saying that you'd rather have those than the
I need to
DeLorean?
know why Karen has all this cool stuff stuffed in her closet.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I need to go
This
to her house.
is awesome.
Okay, you asked me would I rather have this than the DeLorean. This is more usable than the DeLorean.
The DeLorean that you say works and that we could drive it right now.
Oh, it's fine, but I'm just saying this is
Mhm.
still more usable than the DeLorean.
One was my dream, and one was not.
Okay.
You're doing the thing she does.
God forbid. You don't want to be in that camp. I promise you.
Karen, thank you so much. This is awesome.
Karen.
This is going to go a long way towards eventually
Anna
doing.
Vander again.
No,
Gummy noodles.
Put those down.
So freaking good.
She's found our new sponsor, obviously.
Just even though it's watermelon flavored. It's just, you could tie it around your wrist and eat it later. It's just,
Sounds terrible.
it sounds great when you're a kid, though. Doesn't it sound like
There's a
something
price
gross
tag
you
on
would
that
do?
one.
Yeah.
And this one.
Mm-hmm. That one's 15. This one's 39.
Well, I
Plenty
just,
for you.
where was it?
I was going to say Scooby Doo,
Hard to say.
Yeah, that is
It
hard to
does.
say.
but I don't see Scooby Doo on here.
Maybe a different.
It's just it's a word that doesn't
Name.
mean Scooby Doo. It's a French word.
What does it mean?
Well, we'll have to look it up and
These are
find out.
numbered. I didn't realize these were numbered.
Everything in the 90s was numbered.
Was it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Special
I
edition,
know Star Trek.
Even
and
humans.
all
special
that.
limited edition, 1 of 1 million. That was the 90s.
Oh, remember the microplane?
Yeah, I never
forgot about
traded them in
those.
for anything.
Well,
Um,
we're at time.
okay,
Yep.
so to everybody who maybe didn't see the Patreon post
Or the Discord post.
or the Discord post, today's going to be a little different. Today we are trying to finish up filming on a really big video that I've been working on for weeks. And since we have everybody here, there's a really big thing we have to do that I don't want to give away, but we can't do the after show today because of it. So all the patrons,
whole film crew is filming.
just
so-
know that we won't be doing lens clips because we don't want to give it away.
Well, we
But-
will.
We
We
can
won't
do-
show anything.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can do lens clips
But
that won't show.
We will be filming behind the scenes stuff during this process that will then become a Patreon exclusive video to compensate for the lack of the after show.
So like you said,
Um,
bracelet.
But we're trying to get that done today, so there won't be an after
Great,
show.
yeah.
Our apologies. This is a rare event,
Yes.
but we are, trying to get this knocked out. So,
With that,
with that,
thank you for everything.
Yes.
Today. This was a great stream. I think people have been asking us to do Batman animated for a
Mhm.
while, so hopefully you enjoyed it
yeah,
and got a lot out of it.
Yep.
So I did.
yeah.
Tim, are
I
you ready
certainly
for your
did.
close up?
Is this one? Oh yeah, I guess my close up is coming. I have to go get my
Are you-
jacket out of my truck
Are you prepared?
that keeps my truck.
All right. Remember what we talked about. You'll do fine.
But yeah, thanks everybody for being here. And we will see you on the next live stream next Saturday. Like I said, anybody on Patreon, just watch for a few lens clips this afternoon, and then there will be a behind the scenes on this in a week or two. So after the main video drops.
Just remember that when I click this little thing that as our outro plays and it says hope to see you on the Patreon after show, that means next week.
Yeah.
Because today we will not see you, but we will be on Discord and we will be on Patreon, and we will see you soon. Have a happy holiday weekend, whatever you celebrate.
Yep.
Linda and Aaron, sing us away. Take us away, Aaron.
Did you know that we'll be back in a week to see you all again? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.